Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back. We are back on your YouTube screens. We're featuring a guest. And I'm two,
Yes.
not one. Nomisupasta or Nomsa Mazwai.
Thank you.
Osnigez intro lapo.
Hey, my name is Nomisupasta, also known as Nomsa Mazwai. I am a singer, creative, entrepreneur, development economist, activist, zonke bonke, as we have to be in this economy.
Ooh.
You have to be a jack of all trades.
Ooh.
You have to be available and able to just be deployed.
Ooh.
You have to be deployable. You have to be deployable. So if you are still saying one thing, it's not the country, it's you.
Our representative of the country. Yes.
Yes.
And we have our lovely co-host or main host, Cy Jones of the Cy Sessions. How are you doing today?
Great,
Kaz?
thank you. How are you?
I'm scrumptious as always.
Awesome. Thank you, Nomsa. Which one do we refer you to as for the specificities of this girl?
Nomi. Nomi
No,
is
me,
fine.
Nomsa.
Nomi is
Okay.
fine, yeah.
Nomi is perfect. Welcome.
No,
you.
it's me. No me.
So I feel like we've been talking before we even went on air, and I was like, I don't even think I was like, well, let's do an icebreaker, but now I'm like, I don't even think we need to do an icebreaker because it's toishi at this point. It's
we
a
are
warm.
definitely in. We've talked. We know what we're gonna say. Not that we know. No.
Sikreme ama
but-
scripts.
No, we don't know what we're gonna say, but I think it's a beautiful Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
And as you know, my brand new single is called Next Week Tuesday. So I'm happy to be here. I'm always happy to do things on Tuesdays.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
On Tuesday, simbiza ngexesha right, which means Tuesday, ngexesha right, perfect timing. Look at
Timing.
us, guys. Look at us.
In sync.
Yes, look at
got
us.
this.
Yeah.
Jengo Sai, my mixer.
Okay, Lwazi. So let's do this then. We understand that nazo zonke ezi hats ezinxibayo that you've already kind of briefed us with. And the one thing that I was mostly so curious about, and we kind of also talked about a little bit of it off air, about being a musician and in the context in South Africa, what it looks like. So I'm wondering, since you wear so many hats, what is it like for you, particularly to be a musician in South Africa, knowing what you know, by the way, seeing what you see?
With the challenges that we have, primarily finance, like earlier we spoke about Tuguti, a vocalist with a band gets paid X amount, how the music industry like basically influences you as a vocalist as well. You can expand.
I think the music industry is actually a very good way of looking at every industry in the country. And it's one of those industries where you can really explain every other industry quite easily once you understand the music industry. Because there's so many false assumptions about this industry that really need to be attended to.
Like what?
So the first thing is that, to be a musician, you just have to have a voice. And that's not true. Just like to be a mason, a bricklayer, you don't just need to have hands, okay?
Yes, to be a DJ, you don't need to just have USBs.
Yes. Music, and if you want to be a professional at anything, where we are in the world today and how the world has developed, any profession, you need to actually study for it. Not at school. I'm not limiting people because the world has changed a lot. Studying can mean watching YouTube videos. Studying, but you must immerse yourself in information about that industry. So when I was coming up and when I was growing up, our parents didn't really think the music industry was an industry that was somewhere you could go for a livelihood. And as many of us, our parents wanted us to be lawyers, doctors, accountants, architects, things like that. So when I was growing up, my parents said to me, you know what? Do a degree, become an economist, and this thing of singing, you can do it
This
because
thing of singing.
yeah, Yvonne,
Sorry.
By the all of
When
this
they
thing
born.
of singing,
Yes.
you can do it
Don't
because you just sing, you know? And so I studied economics. I did my master's in international political economy and development. And so for me, music was something that I did while I was studying. My debut album came out, literally, I dropped my album on Saturday and I flew to New York on Monday to go do my master's. And so you can see, Ukuti, I didn't know, I hadn't immersed myself in the knowledge about the industry.
Okay.
Because today, when I'm going to release anything, I first think about where am I going to be after the release? Because the real work
Is
in the
when you
music
drop.
industry is when you drop. So I obviously didn't know about the music business. I thought I'm just going to drop, I'm going to release, and then I'm going to go study. Also, because I didn't research music, because I thought I knew music, and my sister was signed to a label, and so I'm watching my sister just go to gigs and just promote. I'm not actually seeing what's happening at the label. And, you know, people need to see to know something or know how something works.
Yeah.
And so what I was seeing was what I thought was the world of music. And so at the record label, of course, they were registering my sister for CAPPASSO, for SAMRO, for all the collecting CMOs. And so I never registered in a CMO. So off I went to America, I released my album. My music did well on radio. I came back, I won a South African Music Award. I came back from school to come receive a South African Music Award, went back to school. All this time my music's playing on radio. I recorded a song with Black Coffee while I was in New York. The song blew up while I was still in New York. And I missed all of that. By the time I came back, people were saying, whoa, man, your song with Black Coffee.
Yeah.
It was massive,
Yeah.
you know? And I was never there for that.
Yeah.
But also, I was not earning because I was not a member of CAPPASSO or SAMRO. And by the time I became a member of CAPPASSO and SAMRO, a lot of what they say, it's not really, it's not necessarily legal in the scope of, if, you know, I think it still needs to be tested in court. But in South Africa, we have prescription law that says if somebody owes you, if you owe somebody money or somebody owes you money, and you don't claim it for 3 years, it expires. Yabo? And that law of prescription was not created to make composers suffer.
Yeah.
That law was created so that as a consumer, uTelkom akakufoneli in 2025 about a contract why Kupusevacit. So I lost a lot of my earnings because of that. And it was because I wasn't educated about the industry. I didn't know the information. And so the first thing I would say to anybody in this industry, before you even put a song out, make sure you get in touch with resources.
Yeah.
Follow artists that are sharing information.
Yeah.
For instance, like every week I post something about the music industry that I've been learning, that this is what's happening. Oh, this is what's going on. And I'm very active now in SAMRO because, and in what's happening in the music industry at the moment, because, you know, over the years, in around 2016, 17, I discovered about the fact that all the stuff I'd released in 2010, I didn't earn from, was registered for all these organizations. And then, you know, I became a board member at CAPPASSO.
Yeah.
And when I was a board member at CAPPASSO, you know, just doing my work as a board member, I became even more deeply involved in understanding how these organizations really actually work. And then after that, when I finished at CAPPASSO, I was on the board, but at the same time I was at the Soweto Theatre Then my contract ended at Soweto Theatre, and I found myself unemployed for the last 6 years.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Without
Yeah,
deployment.
okay, ma'am.
And
Deploy.
I was without deployment
Deployment.
for 6 years. But now in the past year, I decided to deploy myself.
Yes.
And I deployed myself at SAMRO in terms of, working for musicians and artists, because as a professional, I've been exposed to working in offices, being in a board, I understand corporate processes, culture, all of that, things that a lot of musicians might not know.
Yeah.
And so now I've just involved myself in mobilizing members in fixing SAMRO.
Oh, sis.
Even us, we are.
We are mobilized.
We are here.
Yeah.
Viva. We
So-
want music. Did the rights it's our own. Yes, and our money. Scarajwet's got the prescribed debt.
Exactly. And so, lately I deployed myself, and we've been questioning things that have been happening in SAMRO. So
Okay, okay.
let me break it down.
You're actually going and I'm like, this is about to be your
It's
show, girl.
about to go
It's about to be
down.
your show because
It's about to go down. Are you ready?
By the way, before I'm just like, I'm happy that you're such an energetic personality that you're just like, guys, I'm about to give you the tea and I'm about to give the story. We don't have to ask you anything. She's just like, I'm going. But I appreciate that. Please
Let me
continue.
give you the tea.
It's about to get spicy, guys.
So, and I'm going to use myself as an
Please
example.
do. It's personal. And
So Nomi Superstar releases her music in 2010.
Sharp.
Nomi Superstar is not a member
Sharp.
of SAMRO or CAPPASSO.
Yes.
But Nomi Superstar's songs are playing on radio. Traveler is playing on radio. We understand.
And she's traveling.
And SABC is paying SAMRO. And MultiChoice is paying SAMRO. You understand? All the music users are paying SAMRO for their use of my music. Because SAMRO and CAPPASSO and SAMPRA all tell these people, listen, we collect for all the people whose music you play.
Yes.
Right. But I'm not a member. I won a South African Music Award, guys. A South African Music Award is the highest accolade in South Africa.
She didn't buy it. Unlike now. We know.
Oh my God. I don't know all about that. But even at the South African Music Awards in 2011, there was no brochure in my hotel room. There was no workshop that was being held. There was, you would think that when I win my award, after I win my award and I go backstage, there should be a process. If you, as SAMRO, saying, and CAPPASSO, you going boldly to SABC and saying, I'm collecting for all the people that you're winning, like that are playing on your TV set. I go and I win an award. I don't want to, and I want to make this example because there's many artists who don't win awards. But even for
You see that
me
part.
who won an award,
Yeah, that part.
the backstage area after I won my award, why was there no CAPPASSO, SAMRO, business people to say, hey,
Here's your check.
listen, you remember,
Oh.
we collect your money, we've been collecting your money,
Yes.
but you're not a member of ours, but we've got money for you. Because I'm going to go fetch my award. You can't say you can't find me.
That's true. I was thinking about that. I was like, what do they mean? Because there's no way you were not found. Like, you're not a ghosty. Like, I'm
And I'm so glad it happened to me because I think I'm that example that says their interest is to fetch the money. Their interest is not to pay the money.
yeah.
This
that
is I'm a
part,
debt collector.
That part.
Yeah, but they like to get the money from SABC, but they're not interested in paying the money. Because if you were interested in paying the money, I'm not talking, there's many awards in South Africa. I'm not talking about every single award because there's awards that people don't even know about.
Yeah.
But the South African
South
Music
African,
Awards,
the
Sama.
summers.
Sama.
the summers
Live
that
on
are on
SABC
TV,
One.
you couldn't find me.
It's diabolical.
So, guys, ngihethekile.
Nanamhlanje, Yima, nanamhlanje.
No, you
is
don't.
it still the same? Is it still a
So-
similar
They could have
type
found your
No,
next
situation?
of kin.
now they sponsor awards at the South African
Yeah.
Music Awards. But I don't know because I've not been a nominee or a winner
Okay.
after that
After
date,
that.
right? So I don't know what's happening backstage. I don't know if they're having workshops
Yeah.
now. I don't know. But what I know is that in 2011, the organizers of South African Music Awards had the ability to ask me to MC the awards the night before
Are you
for
joking?
free, which I did. But they didn't have it in them to say, hey, we know you asked you to come for free, but we are the organizers. We are RISA. We are the organizers of this thing. And what the value we can give you, because you are giving us value for free, the value we can give you is we can sit down with you and talk about your rights and royalties. Like, you didn't check that. You could ask me to perform, you could ask me to MC the entire awards the night before for free, but you couldn't bring me into a room and say, hey man, are you a member of SAMRO? Are you a member of CAPPASSO? Because you know I was an independent artist because you didn't have to go through a manager.
Yeah.
That's why you asked me to MC, in fact.
Yeah.
Botsotsi.
Oh,
That's why
Busela.
that's why they asked you to MC.
Diabolical.
Actually.
Sipuka-pukana namasela, guys.
Yazi.
It's
It's a travesty.
Krukar, actually.
So what happens is that when you are not a member,
Uh-huh.
they claim your money. Ne? And let's say SABC gives them the cue sheets.
Yeah.
And then on the cue sheets, it'll have Maybe I by Nomisupasta. Ne? I'm not a member of them. So there's nothing that they can match my work to. Because I haven't notified my work to them. It goes into undoc.
And who?
Undocumented.
Undocumented. With
But
even
my
though it
work
has
is
your-
documented, guys, because SABC played it. SABC knows the
Yes.
name of the song. SABC knows the ISRC number.
Yeah.
But because I'm not a member of SAMRO, my work is undocumented.
This is mind blowing to me. I'm not gonna lie, because you, like you just said, even though you're not a member, it has a code that it links to, and that code, and it when the song plays on radio, there's a name there also. It shouldn't be that hard to find a
ISRC
But you know
person.
what
number.
does mean?
So,
But they
which means
left my
Nyani-
money in
Nyani-
undocumented.
that does not
You
make
can
sense.
follow the
It's-
ISRC number to the
You
distributor.
can follow it to
communicate
the
to the
destination. Yes.
distributor.
I think as a
Listen.
rational, reasonable person, you can follow it.
Listen, they put my works in undocumented.
So that ihlale kudlule 3 years and then,
Then,
okay.
there's also something that happens. Let's say my song is called Cockroaches. This is a very good example.
Cockroaches.
Because on my album, one of my songs was
It's a
called
real song.
Cockroaches. I spelled cockroaches different to the way cockroaches,
Cockroaches
is spelled.
spelled, yeah.
Like, let's say now the person at the radio station puts
Types.
cockroaches. Because they read it quickly and then they put cockroaches. Nomisupasta. That can be seen as a mismatch
Yeah.
work, right? So it's incorrectly notified
Yeah.
by the broadcaster. That's when I am even a member of SAMRO, because the broadcaster made a mistake listing it, then it's also undocumented.
Hectic.
Imadoda.
So Kengoku, this folder called undocumented can be worth hundreds of millions
It's worth a
of
lot by
rands.
this. I could believe it's worth a lot.
Ipatali rent yeSAMRO.
Right now, SAMRO for 2024, they've collected 622 million or something
Yeah.
for members.
Yeah.
Go to their website right now. I'm telling everybody who's tuned in.
Yeah.
Go to the SAMRO website. They will tell you how much money they've collected. They will tell you how many members they have. They'll tell you how many times they've paid, but they won't tell you how much they've
paid out.
because they don't want you to know that of the money they've collected, they've only paid out 60% of it or 67% of it. And if you collect 600 million and you are distributing 67% of it, guys, 150 million isn't distributed. That's not a small amount of
That's
money.
not, yeah. It's not change.
That's not some change.
No, it's not some change.
So this is when we're talking about SAMRO and the dishonesty. Because when you're running such an organization that is a member-driven organization, your website should be accountable.
That's true.
So when your website, if you're too scared to show that you are distributing at a low rate, then don't tell people how much you're collecting.
Okay.
Because now you're misleading the public. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Ngale information abakunika yona because when xa ulayita i-computer, ubuke i-website, uxolweni guys, nifuneka nitsibe ndiyanibona nimane nifuna uthetha andithetha
Singene. Sithi chwe.
No, me, I'm just.
mamelani ke la
I'm here
website
for the cause.
kaSAMRO bubuxoki because kutheni lwazi
Yes. that's me.
uzawundixelela uba namhlanje ibiyi-payday undixelele ukuthi wena unomzi unemoto undixelele wena uba unabantwana bathathu
Abangena ku-private school.
but ungade uyithethe uba urhole malini.
Ooh.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Because if I meet Ulwazi, the most important thing to me is to know how much you actually earn as a prospective. You understand? But when you want to show me smoke and mirrors,
Yeah.
I don't even know if that house is yours. That house could be your parents' house.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're not friends with Black Coffee. That could be Black Coffee's car that you're driving.
Yeah.
Right? The fact that you made kids doesn't mean you take care of them. Can I get an amen, girl?
Amen.
My hand is up here. Do not
No,
leave
girl,
me hanging.
amen.
Do you understand?
Just
But
because
so
you're
he's
kids.
painting a picture, Kodwa. He's painting a picture for you. Uyakukhatha.
It's an AI.
It's an AI.
Which one is this one? But it's AI. It's artificial.
Because in our website, even at 600 into a million, as somebody who wants to get my royalties collected, when I say they're collecting 600 million,
lose my mind.
I'm in. I'm in.
I mean, yeah.
But if I see you collect 600 million and you only distribute 100 million, I'm not in. If you say you haven't distributed 150 million, kuko 150 ehleli, I'm not in because I'm asking myself, hayibo, why?
Why? Ten uhleli.
Kutheni uhleli?
Ewe.
So ke ngoku bendisatsho guys ukuthi lo undocumented.
Jonga, before uye lapho ne,
Yeah,
let me
but
play
nah.
devil's advocate for a second.
Yes.
Sharp. So let's
Umtyholi.
say let me play umtyholi.
Yes.
Let's say today, ne, let's put the same context, ne, the same scenario yakho. Ndibeke kum, let me say ngoku at I'm a 20-something-year-old artist, mhlawumbe, or young artist, mhlawumbe namhlanje, and I do not register myself as SAMRO. Do you get me? Mhlawumbe yandazi uba zithini izinto ekumele ndizenze. What should I be doing?
Or
Now
awunamali
I'm-
yokurejistara.
now I'm asking ke ngoku, let's say for the small percentage of people that are saying, whose fault is that? What do we say? Whose fault is that? Like, whose onus is that for you to do that? I know mhlambi siqale ngento yokuba sithi inform yourself. Let's say nyano, okay, sharp, inform myself, but mhlambi it was now. I'm saying whose fault
right.
is that? Yebo?
So-
I said I'm
okay.
playing devil's advocate.
I have an extension to her, right? Whilst you're answering that question, what are I understand the national, what the national law says
Yes,
about
the prescription
the
act, yeah.
description, the 3 years, etc. But what does SAMRO itself say about that same thing? And do they have like a clawback process of any kind? Because that's what I was waiting to hear, to say, what does SAMRO's
What do you mean
rules-
claw back? Like, do they collect the money and let it sit
No,
somewhere?
okay. If you collect 600 million,
Yeah.
you disburse 100 million. There's 500 million that's just chilling.
Yes.
what happens
Very
to
good question.
what happens to
Very-
yes what happens to that money?
Very,
is
very
it,
good question.
is it still
Chilling.
available in future for people to maybe do the work of admin?
Very, very
and-
good
Yes,
question.
that's yeah.
Let's start with your question, which says,
Yes. Oh, what sound the
Whose fault is
Whose
it?
fault is that? Whose fault is that?
in South Africa, when you're an accountant, in order to say you're an accountant, you have to be a member of SAICA. There's a way in which there's a regulation that ensures that you're a member of SAICA. When you are a lawyer, there's professional bodies. When you're a singer, there's no professional bodies. So it's very possible to be a singer in a rural area and to be left out. So whose responsibility is that? I think it's the responsibility of SAMRO.
Okay.
Right?
Yes, it is.
If you are going to go collect money on my behalf, and there's a chance that I might not know you're collecting my money, you have to do everything in your power to
try
try
and
to make sure that I know.
Okay.
Because it's almost like government, right? Government takes money from the groceries, from the pilchards. They take their 15% for VAT. They have to do their utmost to make sure you know about the services because they took the money.
Sure.
So to me, I think it's the onus of the SAMRO.
Okay.
It's and in an environment like South Africa, there's also a role for government to play, departments of arts and culture,
100%.
to say if you're going into this profession, the singing profession, the theater profession, the writing profession, because there's all of these collecting societies for different entities. But remember the Generations actors started that thing of, Haibo, I get paid to shoot Generations and then it airs in Nigeria, it airs everywhere and I don't earn anything.
Residual zero.
Those are residuals. That's copyright law. So they also need to have their own organization that collects on their behalf.
I mean, it does make sense because when you made the example of SAICA, I know, for instance, even doctors, for their level, for them to practice to be a doctor, they have to pay a certain fee to an organization that will keep them accountable. Yeah, so I get that. So what are you saying? Are you saying that should SAICA, not SAICA, wow, should SAMRO then, SAMRO should be doing its due diligence, its utmost best, if it's collecting money on behalf of somebody else, to make sure that they are receiving that money. It makes sense.
The
then.
whole
Now,
ecosystem.
It makes sense.
It's a little bit different because accountants, it's very bad for the public if an
know.
accountant goes out there and does crooked accounting.
Yeah,
It's dangerous for the general good.
yeah.
But for a singer to go out and sing it, it's a positive. It's a net gain for everybody
Sure.
else. So it's difficult to force, like legally, legislatively. You can't call yourself an accountant unless you're a member of
uyile
SAICA.
kwa-SAICA.
It's very difficult to legislate. You can't call yourself a musician unless you're a member of, right? But I think our thinking should be like that, of what is the mechanism that makes sure. And I think it is these collecting organizations
Okay.
when they are run well.
Okay.
Because
Thank you.
as an organization like SAMRO should also be protecting the rights of artists, protecting the rights of the composers, because they are going to SABC and saying, you played the music of the
They are
composers.
going.
We want their money because that's their money.
Yeah.
So you can do it when you're collecting money, but you can't do it
When it's time to pay.
It's time for stadiums like SAFA. You can't hold a soccer match in South Africa without consulting SAFA. Did you know that?
No.
Can't.
You can't. But you can be any artist around the world and you decide that you're going to book FNB Stadium, come and book, make money and bounce. And nobody's consulted.
Hectic.
Aibo.
Actually,
well-
I'm sorry, that
No,
scale
no,
just put
no,
things
no.
into
Wait, wait, wait,
perspective,
wait, wait.
actually. That
Whoa,
scale
whoa,
is
whoa.
hectic.
No music body is consulted.
You're
Wait,
joking.
wait.
That's a
There's
hectic
nobody in South Africa
thought.
who's
No.
a music body who has to sign off and says,
Oh, Chris
yes,
Brown.
So, Chris
Brown,
Brown.
you can come. That's it's a purely commercial. There is
But
no
those are royalties,
regulation
Nazo.
that they can come and get, and they get their royalties. Rest assured that
Those seats, you know.
that when Chris Brown plays at FNB Stadium or ever,
Q-Sheet.
Doing a music
SAMRO,
thing.
listen, there's no regulator that says that even makes a decision. They just charge their fee.
Like, okay. I did not know that.
Eh,
That
hectic.
scale is actually quite hectic, actually.
So that we can have that thing, because when you say you're coming to do a Brazilian whatever match, Safa will then say, what's the community
yes.
benefit? What's the what?
Yes.
That's why when these big teams come here, there's always so much outreach things that are happening. Because it's actually part of the process. Well, chap, you can't just come here and figure. And that's why even people find themselves bepukishwa zifire by night. Abantu bafike pa kungekho sound. Delay. I mean, really, if festival engena sound, it indongo. I don't show guys. It was a Sazo. A very big Sazo that time.
Sazo. We're coining this term.
So, I think for me,
Okay.
the responsibility of SAMRO, of the responsibility of getting artists to become members of SAMRO is
Is on
SAMRO's.
SAMRO.
Because you're collecting on behalf of these people and you don't pay them sometimes.
Sure.
So the money that you don't pay them, you
Sometimes.
should be using that money that you haven't been, that money where it's undock. That undock. A big portion of it should be used to go into the country
And fine.
to say, are you creating music? Here's SAMRO, become a member, become a member, become a member. You understand?
Yeah.
Because short-staffed, maybe. You can hire us.
I
Lazi, but I tell you those about short-staffed. About short-staffed because their money is very long.
It's long. Ima, don't you mean our money?
Our money is very, very long.
Samro, give us our money.
Our money is very,
We will
very
do
long.
the things by ourselves.
Okay, so then the question came that
yeah.
said, isn't there a clawback? So now what happens is that SABC gives SAMRO 400 million in a year. SAMRO distributes 300 million of that 400 million. That 100 million does not go back to SABC. It sits at SAMRO. After 3 years, that 100 million has now expired. The members of SAMRO, this is the one that got me. This is the one that said, you did what? The members of SAMRO, then what they do is
What do they do?
They hold a meeting and they say,
Amongst them.
amongst them.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Andikho mna
Okay, superstar. Yeah.
Kuthethwa ngemali yam.
Ngemali yakho. Yeah, okay.
Ewe, my money is the subject matter of the meeting, but andikho. Kuthiwe, guys, le mali lena once masiyisherisheni by market share.
Yabona, that market share thing, ne? It drives me insane.
And the bayayikhumshisa yabo bathi market share distribution
Yeah.
because that thing, when you say market share distribution, it sounds very
legit.
proper, man.
It sounds legit.
I'm part of the market.
It sounds so legit.
No, it sounds legit.
It sounds proper
DT
legit.
market share. Oh, okay.
It sounds
Yeah.
proper legit.
Mali
But
yami.
what we know for sure about that money is that it doesn't belong to any of us here. Because if it belonged to any of us, we would have matched it, we would have claimed it. The fact that it's there, it means it doesn't belong to us. So what we were supposed to say about that money was, guys, let's do this. This money, let us take this money and we put it, 20% of it we put in an investment, 20% of it goes to look for members.
Yeah, makes sense.
And that 20%, and if you've taken it away, so in a normal world, you'd say there's 20% of people's money that has been spent on looking for members. That's why it's in an interest earning account. Because when you found your members, if it was 100 million and you took 20 million, obviously now for those members that were not there, you are missing 20 million to pay them, and it. So that 80 million you've taken to the bank, it's interest earning. By the time senibaqokelele bonke aba bantu abamissing, imali izabe
Izabe
sekhulile,
yeah,
abantu
icompoundile.
baclaime.
Yeah.
And eventually, when you get to 100% distribution, if you still have money in that account, then that money is just used for
Campaigns
education and campaigning
education.
to make sure that you continue ensuring that whenever a person in South Africa releases a song, they are members of SAMRO, they are members of CAPPASSO. No. Abafuni.
Yeah.
Bapo nasa.
It makes sense, man.
And now let me tell you, Kengoku.
Ooh,
Are you
it's
getting
thick.
my
The
Melis
plot
Endo?
thickens, bro.
Here's the thing. Yabo? At SAMRO and at CAPPASSO, the members are composers, authors, and publishers.
Yeah.
Okay? Publishers, do not get confused by that word. Publishers can be independent publishers, like
Yes, like
small
Abomina, so.
or Olwazi, Aba.
That's us, yes.
And it can also be independent publishers, meaning universal
Yeah.
music publishing.
Yeah.
Yabo? Which is a very big label's publishing arm.
Hey, too
Understand?
much.
Okay. So now we understand that when we're talking about the members of these organizations, when I talk about Universal, and I talk about Lwazi, and I talk about NOMSA,
Yeah.
NOMSA is a composer, author. No? Keep those things in mind. There's a composer, author, there is a publisher.
publisher.
We'll call him an SMME publisher.
Yeah.
And then there's an independent publisher who's a big company. Let's call him the corporate publisher.
Sure.
Ne? Just so that South Africans understand.
Yes.
Big dogs.
UNAMSA is one. NAMSA represents one. UNAMSA represents only her works. NAMSA, if she's a very good producing artist and she's been in the game for 10 years, maybe by now she's got 200 songs that she's collecting from. Ulwazi is an SMME publisher. Ulwazi has got how many artists signed to him?
Yeah.
Make an
Mhlawumbe
average.
masithi 20.
20.
Ulwazi's got 20 artists signed to him. So take my number. What was my
City
number?
times
200
20,
times 20.
times 20.
That's 4,000.
Yes.
4,000 works. Ulwazi's
Yes.
got 4,000 works.
Yes.
That he's claiming from. Then let's take Universal.
Universal. City 1,000.
700
No.
billion.
You're lying.
More than that. No,
You're
I
lying
know.
because
I'm
Universal
underplaying it.
operates
It's
in
more
South
than
Africa,
that.
in
Africa
America,
and
in France,
a lot.
in wherever.
Yeah.
It's all over the world.
And it's got other small branches
Yes,
as
because
Universal.
Def Jam or Def Com
Yeah,
is
it's
part of
Universal.
Universal. Mangma,
Yeah,
there's
it's
other labels that you
Universal.
say. There's
Yeah.
other labels that you think
There's
are
a
not part
lot.
of the majors, and they are part of the
Uyo
majors.
Universal.
So that number is
If
closer
you think it
to
Universal.
I don't know what that number is. It might be closer to 100,000.
Yeah, it's
means
actually a lot.
it's a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
So if it's 100,000, you're talking 2 million works. If I'm not
Way
mistaken,
more
or
possibly.
20 million
Yeah,
works.
20 million works. Masiti, 20 million works.
Okay. So now let's say music in South Africa is communist, that everybody's song plays the same amount. We have to create this
Yeah,
this
page this
example,
picture. I mean, I like
this sample.
examples.
So let's say Nomsa's song plays the same as Lwazi's song plays as Lwazi's song. So per
Per
song,
play.
each song we both getting the same amount to
Must
play.
it-
So let's say
must it-
each song is worth 1 unit.
Yes, okay.
Each song is worth 1 unit.
Okay.
My
Your song, your one
So
play.
me, composer, let's say every song is worth 1. So me, composer, I've got 200 units
Sure,
ne, of value.
sure.
Lwazi's got 4,000 units of value. Universal has got 20,000 units of value. Me and Lwazi are South African. So my 200 units is South Africans, waving a little South African flag. Lwazi's 4,000 units is also all waving South African flag. Universal's one, or Sony's one, or Shear's one, or Warner. They have 20 million units. Is waving majority American flag.
Yeah.
It's waving South African flag little bit. It's waving Nigerian flag.
Kaku.
It's waving, just think of all the music that's big, yabo? And you must also remember that some music that's big we don't even know, because
Yeah,
classical
that's
music
true.
can be big.
No, that's true.
So it might be waving Japanese flag, Chinese flag, depending on where the music is coming from. Me, Lwazi, and Universal walk into the same meeting. We are walking into the same
This is a
meeting.
great story, by the way.
Le meeting lena
Story time
izawudecida imali ethathwe kwa-SABC. Mali ephuma ku-SABC. Mali ye South African abantu ababhatala i-TV license. Imali ye-advertisers ababhatala u-South African Broadcasting Corporation, u-advertiser. And then kudlale i-show enengoma yam. As a South African, ndifike emeetingini. I-vote yam ibe worth 200 units. Eyami vote. I-flag yam ibe worth 200. I-flag kaLwazi ibe worth 4,000. I-flag kaUniversal ibe worth 20 million. Sifike emeetingini sixoxa imali yalapha eMzantsi. But even if mna noLwazi singadibana sithi hayi Fondini masithathe le mali siyisebenzise sifundise abantu balapha ekhaya ukuthi uregistration neSAMRO yenziwa njani, because thina vested interest thina for uba abantu basucceed, because thina sisi breadwinners.
Yeah.
Yayikon sithi ababhatala i-black tax.
Yeah.
So we are the first ones to go to our families. Sithi hayi man sibongile uyakwazi ucula man. Khawuhambe uyoregister pha kuSAMRO. Masishaya ingoma uzokwazi urhola. Because this load of black tax is heavy.
It's heavy.
But we get into a room with Universal, and Universal, there's a South African sitting there.
Yeah.
So ngoku sihleli kunye noJabu.
Yes.
Kodwa uJabu une-marching orders. Xelela uJabu uba xa fika pha uzawuthi market share distribution. Qha qwaba. Ayixoxisi.
Uthi market
Because
share distribution.
eMelika kukho le mali abayifumana mahala, because eMzantsi those stupid Africans, they don't know how to educate themselves and make sure that
They don't
claim
know.
their money.
Amaqaba.
Kubakho imali engaclainyanga, and every year siyabonus from South Africa.
I just had second-hand embarrassment, Kesana.
Yeah, understand?
Yeah, I understand.
So this is the problem with these organizations and the South African government. Ingxaki ke nathi singumzantsi sinale ngxaki yothanda udeploya. Yayikon?
Talk more, spear, say more. Yeah.
And deployment and employment is two different procedure. You understand? Employment procedure. It checks your qualification.
Yeah.
Checks your ability. Checks your know-how.
Experience.
Checks your
Yeah,
experience.
check-ish.
And whereby sometimes deployment.
Deployment.
Jonga
Ayikho
ngoku
kaloku.
kuthethwa nge-Department of Arts and Culture uba kutheni sisoloko sifumana oominister abangayazi i-sector yethu.
I-culture.
Kaloku guys masibuyeleni back sikhumbuleni uba xa kuwiniwe phaa kwi-elections and u-ANC ufumana iivote ezingaka, u-DA afumana iivote ezingaka, u-EFF nabani bayafika phaa banegotiate ii-ministries ezibalulekileyo. It's mining. Yona ministry.
Yeah, yona eqhuba phambili kubo.
So ke ngoku xa kufike i-need for uba
I-arts.
umntu afumane mining, and they need the votes for
Yeah.
mining.
Yeah.
And they've got 50%, they need another 60% of the vote.
Yeah.
Kubekho uPatriotic Alliance ophethe 2%, kubekho uPAC ophethe 2%. Obvious kuzawuthiwa mamela man Patriotic Alliance. Kanibambe apha i-Department of Arts and Culture. See, bargaining cheap, guys.
Yes, I don't know why you guys are laughing. It's not laughy sing.
It's not funny because it's funny. It's funny because
You can't.
It's not laughy sing, this thing, man. It's a serious thing.
city or haha.
You must reflect. And you Suba, we are the ones. We are the ones who are called to perform. We are the ones that get paid for these people.
It's
That's
a
what I
joke.
was thinking. Huba, it's funny, but
Si
we are the
joke.
ones in Yan who can pay.
Sereki sing.
Sita
We are the
Babatal.
ones that get paid for this.
It's a creative flyer, creative industry as a whole.
Hey,
Oh, wow.
Kuliwe, Kudra, hi, some cancellation money. Uperformeli DA. Ngelo xesha. Xa kufike ixesha elibalulekileyo.
When the time
When the
comes.
time comes for a decision to be made
Yes.
on the management of this very sector, we are but a mere chip on the table whereby people are hedging bets. Ba, upatriotic aphume apho ANC athi hayi thina sakunika arts and culture baye phakathi ADA athi guys no singaniniki Department of Women. That's another giveaway. Hayi sakunika
Look,
Department of
andihleki.
Yayibona? That is why. And when ANC is in power, this department was used to cajole each other. Yaqonda uba hayi sakwenza minister man. Yaqonda? But when they lost the votes ke ngoku, they have to yabona, they have to make the circle bigger.
Show them.
Yeah, they need to make the circle bigger.
Okay.
Yo.
So I'm really enjoying this. And it's because, like you, I'm an economist. So in these discussions, I always bring up the money.
Yes.
Right? One of the discussions we've brought up a number of times this year was, so clearly there needs to be some type of collective action from the industry. Is that feasible in your view? Because every other sector that you've alluded to has some type of centralization, has some type of, collective bodies, either one or multiple or a couple that work sort of in concert for the sector. If it's doctors, if it's lawyers, accountants, even even people in sport will have their own governing bodies, etc. But for this one, because it does feel as if a lot of the, can I call it abuse, also
Yes.
stems from the fact that there isn't a collective vision of where do artists want to go, right? So from just a structure point of view, one, is that feasible? And two, you've clearly done a lot of research. Has this been done anyway?
Yes. So there is I think musicians over the years, composers, also authors and composers and publishers from South Africa, SAMRO members in South Africa, always try to mobilize. So now there's a number of challenges when it comes to that. The industry is already structurally fragmented.
Yeah.
In the sense that a high-earning artist, a very big artist, by most expectation, will be signed to a big label. Doesn't always happen that big artists are independent. And also, big artists that are independent tend to have bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
Bigger issues to
That's
look
what-
at.
Yeah.
It's almost like an oversight. For
Yes.
instance, when I was independent, I was doing very well. And for me to go and deal with SAMRO, it just felt very kind of, where do I start with
Yeah.
this? Because there was no information. Now that the tide is turning, and so people are organizing themselves to now challenge SAMRO. For
Yeah.
instance, now we are at a point in the country's development where I feel enough of us are educated enough to have a coherent discussion and understanding about the challenges that we are facing.
About what's happening.
Before, the level, the last 30 years, if I can tell you the issues. 30 years ago, an artist, South African artist, would produce music for a label that's white-owned, that is submitting to SABC. And when they submit to SABC, and when they notify your work, they would notify the radio DJ as part of the composition team. Oguti know that song was composed by that DJ as a form of payola, so that there's no money that goes from the label to the DJ. This thing is deep. Do you understand that this corruption is very
That's, yeah.
is very it's very it's
That just made me. I think I just got.
it's systematic.
It is systematic.
And so as South Africans, we must also always remember that we are a developing country.
Yeah.
And what developing means is that only 30 years ago did we all start going to school the right way, the way we're supposed to go to school. And even though not everybody benefited, a lot of people have gone to university. And even though our economy is not employing everybody, a lot of us do have that education.
Yeah.
So you do find that when we are sitting in meetings, people are now more willing to actually read the law and get involved. South Africa is transitioning, really it is. For instance, if you look at the commissions, the first commission that was held in South Africa, I think it was the one about I think it was under Thabo Mbeki's term, I don't know. But that first commission, if you look at it and where we are now, I think we can, as a nation, we are all having the posture of, if this commission doesn't put people in prison, then we're not believing in this thing anymore. And that's part of the development and the transformation of a society. And the only way you can transform is when there is some kind of structural change. We had democracy, so now we can all access schooling.
Yeah.
We can all access university. We can all, if we want to, do things that before we couldn't do. And I like to say we are who we have been waiting for. 30 years into democracy, we are the people that we look for in the departments. We are the people. So if something is not working in a government department now, we are the people that can go on ChatGPT and say, I'm at the clinic and the queue is long and all the nurses just took lunch at the same time. Is that legal? Because there is legislation that actually, then that thing will say, no, they are actually in contravention with Batupeli, which states that the government facility must make sure that there's, and then you get that answer on ChatGPT. And then you say, okay, what can I do about it? And then ChatGPT will say, right, the public protector is the person that you write to. Guys, I don't know if that's what happens, right? But it'll say the public protector is the person you have to write to. And then this is how you contact the public protector. Then you can say, ChatGPT, I'm at this hospital in Katlehong, and it's this date, and these are the nurses that are working now. I need to you're looking at people's name tags. Yabo? Ngango S. When this so. Yabo? And you're getting the information that you need to make a change here. Then you put all of that into ChatGPT and you say, ChatGPT, please write me that email and give me the email address. And then ChatGPT writes you the email and gives you the email address. You copy paste. You send your email. Then you say, ChatGPT, what next? Then ChatGPT says, by law, public protector must get back to you. That's why when people were going after that lady from the public protector after Tuli Madonsela, when they were going after her, she was the first public protector that I'd ever heard talking about KPIs. So the first public protector that spoke about key performance indicators. Yes, she might not have been doing a lot about the salacious cases that are always in the media. But the public protector deals with thousands and thousands of queries from ordinary South Africans. Quite frankly, I don't care if she doesn't do anything about Cyril. I wanted to do something about the clinic. So that will tell you. Then ChatGPT will say to you, listen, the public protector by law is supposed to get back to you by this time. If she doesn't, this is what ombudsman for her. And eventually, and it's sending emails, guys, you're not moving, thanks to COVID. Because even God helped us. You're not moving, you're emailing.
She said, thanks to even God helped us.
Even God has
COVID,
helped us. You're sending emails. By the time you need to get up and go somewhere and pay for taxi fare, You're getting up and you're paying for taxi for something legit. You are literally making history.
Yeah.
Because if everybody doesn't do their jobs, it gets to the highest court of the land, where then now the courts are saying you are not. Where municipalities, you know that there's municipalities in this country where they don't pay rates and taxes
I believe
Yep.
that.
because they followed the law to the letter, to the end, whereby the court said no, but they can't pay you because you don't deliver services. And those communities keep all their money and they do all their own maintenance. The government has to send it into a community trust, imali yabo. Bayifumana iphuma kahulumeni because andithi imali ye-municipality iphuma ku-taxes. So for communities like Soweto, because they won't rate it on your salaries, kaloku, when they distribute to the provinces, they don't have that. The algorithm is not really looking at who paid what, because South Africa is about whoever can pay must pay,
Yeah.
so that everybody can benefit.
Yeah.
But in a community like Soweto, where everybody's unemployed and where services are not being delivered, there's young people, guys, there's free Wi-Fi. Go sit there by the clinic and follow the procedure. And go to it until it's finished. By that time, you've organized, mobilized people. By the time they are saying we're giving Soweto, Soweto has its own government. Soweto has its own municipality. Because it can say the city of Joburg is just, even there, Kwalanga, Kailicha, imali izawuphuma iphelele. It's just that izawudeductwa kula mali yase Western Cape.
Yeah.
So it's that age of we are who we have been waiting for. It's time you attend. You must attend. Julius Wayetilo, guys, attend the races. Okay, attend the problem.
Attend the problem.
So in essence, sivule yethu SAMRO,
That's-
ne CAPPASSO.
No.
'Cause
What
we
are
are
we,
tired
what are we
No,
saying
that's
right
not-
now? Are we saying Sivuli Union, Sivula? Because we
What are we
talked about
doing?
this.
Listen,
We were like, what are we
SAMRO
doing?
is a member-based South African organization.
But what if asifuni?
No, it's not
We
that you
can't
don't
not-
want it.
yeah.
You
Ayisebenzi
don't,
right.
what you don't like
Yes.
is how it's being-
functioning.
How it's
Yeah.
functioning. But we definitely do like that they collected
I like
600
that.
million
No,
from
that part I
SABC.
like. I like that part.
Then what-
100%.
3 years.
Because let's say Mlazi, I open my SAMRO, you open your SAMRO,
Sure.
she opens her SAMRO.
Yes.
Do you think we're all going
It's
to get
going
a
to be
meeting
so
at SABC?
segmented. Even
No,
more.
wait. Are we
Yeah,
all
okay.
going to get a meeting at SABC? Are we all going to get a meeting
At least
at
one of us
MultiChoice?
might, and then we come together. And
No,
then,
but would we come
I'm just
together?
saying.
But
Why
would we
wouldn't
come
we?
together?
Why
No,
wouldn't
no.
we?
No,
But
we
would we
wouldn't.
come
We
together?
wouldn't come
Why
together.
wouldn't
Let's
we?
have this conversation to the end. I open my collective
You're already
society.
not together.
I'm ndikokelela ii-members.
Ii-members.
Yes.
Ndifumane uzonke uthi uzawusayina nam, uzonke is a big earner.
Sure.
Umama kazonke itshomi kamamakho andiyazi loo nto leyo mna. Umamakho athi kumama kazonke njani umntanam enekhampani.
I see you.
Yayibona?
That is a good example.
Then uzonke athi hayi nomsa ke umama uthe uyayiqonda loo nto
Jonga,
leyo?
you took it
Sisi
somewhere.
enemies.
Yeah.
Sisi enemies. Asikwazi no. We can't hold
As
our word.
take no
When I
takes.
see you. Yes. It's like Ndiragaba.
Yes.
So you don't know that. Don't introduce variables
That's
that
okay.
are that are unknown. There's nothing like an unknown variable. I do not like an unknown variable. Nah.
Another question I have, does it mean then, since the methodologies that they're using within the company are messed up, nalo 600, yeah, shorter, somewhere, somehow.
Listen.
Because its structures are, like there's a venue, potential venue somewhere that's playing music for free, that's not abiding by the
No,
rules.
there we can rest assured.
Yeah,
Because of the greed.
yes.
It's the creed.
They were collecting. I mean, these guys were holding meetings
Yo,
with the
yo,
taxi
yo, yo, yo.
association.
That's a land
The
man.
taxi
They
association.
They were
They
planning
getting the
to
money.
get money from the taxi associations. It's unfortunate that this is happening, but they were in talks with the taxi associations
Sure.
to get our money. Ukuthi, no. Kaloku, you play the music in your taxi.
Yeah.
So it's either nicimeni umculo or
Nibhadla.
you
Pama
pay.
radio.
Yeah, you understand? So they were doing. The fetching of the money. They were very keen
Number one.
to fetch the money.
I know they fetch nyani shame.
Because you must understand that if you fetched more money, yabo, and then you distributed less, and then there's this chunk of money, and you're going to give it to Universal and you're a board member. I'm not saying that this is happening, but there's chances of kickbacks, don't you think?
Possibly.
Kickbacks that you don't see. You know when you switch on the phone and then you see people are in the south of France wearing Burberry swimming costumes, you're asking yourself, how? This costs at least 20 million.
Yeah.
But it's that.
I wonder,
that-
but
it's
long
how people
Nkosi
get
yami yoko.
invited. It's how people get invited. Even when you look at this thing of Jeffrey Epstein, I'll take it to America for an example. Alan Dershowitz, same that old man, and people must watch that old man. He's going everywhere, all his podcasts. Actually, guys, bending ayas about Epstein,
When's Island?
bendi lawyer yakhe. But kule ncoko yakhe athi ewe, then we went on his plane, we went to Cape Canaveral to go see the launch of the spaceship. Then he says, and then there was a time we went to the What Open, and then there was a time when we went to this What, and you're like,
And like,
but now why can't we buze? But where's all this money from? We don't. That's the thing about capitalism. Capitalism has got this thing where it encourages you not to ask for all the questions, because sometimes if you ask all the questions, it might mess with the bag.
I think in that like in Yan.
Yes, that's the problem with capitalism. But it encourages you to not be too much.
Don't be too much. Yeah.
Subuzi mibuzo minintsi. Like on. And we've heard that being said about ubuza gqithi.
Ubuza gqithi.
But tata
Too
la
much.
fala la.
Yes. And that's the problem. That it encourages not to ask questions. But let's bring it back
Let's bring it back.
to South Africa.
Yeah.
To this
To this-
thing about different collecting societies.
Yeah.
South Africa, the way we are as a nation and how we are set up. Remember, our solutions must suit us.
100%.
We are a country with 11, 12 languages now. And we respect our languages. We respect them. And we want to preserve them. There's nobody who says, asifunu kuba nesiXhosa in 100 years' time. People are stressed about where is it going. Do you know what I mean? So we are a country with 11 languages. 11 languages already means there's enough admin in South Africa.
Yeah, 100%.
There's already enough admin. We don't need to have more than one collecting society.
Yes.
There should be one collecting society
Yeah.
that collects money from everybody.
Everywhere.
And that has to distribute to everybody. The Rights Management Society, where copyright is administered, whether it's acting copyright, anything that's media and entertainment copyright related, it should be managed by one organization.
Yeah.
So that Unomsa, when she decides to be an actress, then she knows, oh, that's where I have to go. Unomsa, when she decides to be a singer, they said, that's where you have to go, mntanam. Ubanban, when they decide to be a photographer, and then there, it can then go into streams, but we've all registered. So you register for this one thing, and when you register, it asks you questions. Do you write music? Do you compose music? But now can you see the conversation is easier? Because ngoku singathi uyawubhala umculo, urata mino. What do you do? Ungwala mino. What are you doing? Then people can onkadi nepe. And that even in infographics, because the way we should be looking at communicating in South Africa should be heavily infographic treated. Like, let's go back to, if you look at Adinkra, the ancient ways that Africans used to write, it was symbols. You can see, but this means that. Our alphabet, when it would be drawn, you would see when something you draw, like if you look at Adinkra, you can see what it means by just looking at it. Whether you're a Chinese person, whether you're an English person, whether you're a Tsonga person, whether you're a Zulu person. So when we have this symbol, this is where you go. Then we can have the singer. Is this what you do? Is this what you do? You compose songs. Is this what you do? Playing a piano or playing a guitar to show that you compose music. You don't write. You're not an author. Authors write the song. Composers write the music. so that people can see, oh, this is where I fall. Then once people, and artists are very creative.
100%.
So that if you are a singer, a music writer, and also a performer, and also because there's a difference between a performer and a singer-songwriter. There's a difference between just a singer and a singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
A singer claims from SAMPRA only. Because they perform, that's all they do. But a singer-songwriter collects from SAMPRA, CAPPASSO, SAMRO. That's too much English, guys.
It's a lot.
That we have to translate
Yeah.
in 11 official languages.
Yeah.
It's too much.
It's a lot.
We need one. It's not a sense of guys. It's actually just pragmatic. And as a country, we need to start being practical. We must stop looking at America and saying, oh, because in America it's like this,
For
we need
real,
to have
though.
it like that. No.
Yeah.
We can say, no, guys, listen. Europe, we understand. You guys have this organization, we get you. Yeah, we get it. But most of you, your languages are based in Latin. So when you're talking to each other, even though you're speaking different languages, you kind of get each other. Tina, our language stems are different. isiSotho nesiZulu nesiTsonga are different language groupings. So, really, umXhosa xa esithi bayatswiliza, uthetha
Murena Buruka.
it's not about insulting. Let
ayivayo.
Because kuye xa ithetha intetho is different to umtswirizo. Yabo uthi bayatswiriza. Because ha re bua re le Basotho ra tswirisa ka nnete.
Eh, batswiriza.
Ha le re mametse ha le utlwe hore re reng. Wa
Umametse
bona?
Lesedi FM, yes.
Yeah, Ibona, so I'm not a linguist. There may be linguists out there that are correcting me. No, she's wrong, guys. I'm a jack of all trades.
Yes.
And I like to depend on people for expert advice.
Yeah.
So when I speak because I've heard it. But if in that school of thought there is a whatever, then come and correct me. I'm glad to have it. But what I'm saying is that as South Africans, we must sit and say, what's going to work for us? Ngoba induna ephethe uMaskandi must earn, because Maskandi is huge.
Yeah,
in South
it's
Africa.
huge in South Africa.
Dude.
It's huge.
And he shouldn't suffer. He shouldn't have to hire somebody who speaks English. Why? It's always, and that's what I love about Shangaan people, because if you go to a law firm in a Tsonga law firm, everybody's speaking in Tsonga there. In the law, everybody from receptionist to researcher, everybody is in Tsonga. Because their clients are Tsonga, they are Tsonga, everything is Tsonga. Why do we need English?
It's impressive.
Tsongarized.
If Imtata.
Yes, that's
Everyone speaks
Mthatha.
Xhosa. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
everyone
but
speaks
it is
Xhosa.
Xhosa.
Uza uya to a bodega, a corner store, whoever is serving you, Xhosa.
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
Yes.
Like
And so when you even go to court, say it's Xhosa.
Just-
Because we don't have to get translators when we don't need them.
Yeah.
Why are we translating from Zulu? That's the thing, Benenge trial. I was like, what's happening here? Because usisi lo uthetha isiXhosa. Oh, judge Abba, bayasazi isiXhosa, okay, not all of them knew isiXhosa, but okay. But in such a setting, that entire thing should have been on TV ngesiXhosa. It translated. Umntu akwazi uyotshintsha kwi-TV yakhe ngoku siku-Digital Times. Aveske athi English ibe sisingisi yakhe. Omnye athi isiSuthu. But ukuthi pha kubekho abantu abaqashiweyo, umuntu ayithathe esiXhoseni athi isingisi ayiphindise esiXhoseni. Hayi yini guys. Masingamoshi imali.
What a
Simoshi imali
process.
nyhani,
Hayi,
actually.
masingamoshi-
We're solving the wrong problem.
We are solving the wrong problem.
This conversation is really starting to take its toll on me. Hi.
We're solving
But,
the wrong.
you know, so that's what it is. You know, it's really about finding our own own solution, and maybe the solution that I'm
But do we
proposing-
unionize though?
Pardon?
Do we unionize? What is our solution?
Look, I
Do we
think-
unionize?
I don't know what it's going to look like.
Unionizing.
No,
Or
I
what?
don't know
The
what it's going to
solution?
look like. I think unions are outdated.
Hectic. Okay.
I think they're outdated. I mean, when was the last time you saw Kosatu strike? That
Yo.
actually worked out.
Good.
All
Dala.
right. Yeah. All right.
Because they call them, but there's like 20 people out there. The world has changed, guys.
Yeah. True.
The world has changed. People don't want to leave TikTok. They don't want to leave their
They don't leave their
to come and
screens. They don't leave
engage
their
you.
Twitters. They.
So
Shoo, that's
we've
scary.
got, like, we always have to think today. Like, you have to think about the future.
So what do we do then? I'm just trying to think. what do we try to actually do
We do
right
what we are doing
now?
right now. And right now,
Let's share what. Yeah.
Right now, there's a collective of composers and publishers in South Africa, because we've realized that it's not actually composers against publishers. It's actually South Africa against the rest of the world. Because in the last SAMRO meeting, they voted to keep the board fees the same. So the chairperson gets 120,000 Rand for a 3-hour meeting, which is crazy. But you know who made that decision? Artists from somewhere else in the world. Because the independent publishers made that decision. Their vote was worth more.
Oh yeah.
They made that decision.
They made that
And I think if SABC knew that monies, I mean, for a not-for-profit company, the directors, anybody looking for a not-for-profit company, what kind of director is getting paid 120,000 for a 3-hour meeting in the South Africa
in
that
the South
we
Africa
have?
that we're in?
In the South Africa, and 120,000 of artists' money, artists that die as paupers,
That part.
artists that are always suffering. When we're looking at the TV, we're saying, this guy's a legend, but the board directors who are making decisions about their money are getting paid 120,000 for a 3-hour meeting? Do you understand that there's people that are getting paid 60,000 per year in office jobs?
Yep.
To be there every day, a 9 to 5, I thought this. So, he represents 6 of them, or how many of them?
Yeah.
How many people does he represent? Abase checkers. Kuko abandu abapangele checkers to make 3,000 Rand or 4,000 Rand a month. 4 times 12 is how much? 48. So Bambi, there's 2 of them that could be employed for an entire year. And we know that one breadwinner in South Africa is feeding 15 people. For 1 year, he could, in 3 hours, he makes what singers pray for.
That's true.
There's singers out there who would kill for a job at ShopRite right now. He makes that in 3 hours, talking about our
Your
money.
money. Yeah.
I don't know how the SABC feels about that. There is no knowledgeable minister of arts and culture. If you know your job, there is no way you can go to sleep knowing that artists in America made a decision to pay a board chairperson 120,000 for a 3-hour meeting.
It's uncomfortable to even think about.
You just don't know, because
Yeah.
I don't think that any sane South African would agree to that. So it just means you are just uneducated in this department.
You've been deployed.
You've been deployed. In
Or
fact, it's not even
qualified.
deployment here.
Ayo, no deployment in
been-
Yani.
You won,
Singathi
you won it at a poker table. You won the position.
You wanted at a poker
But you
table.
can bleed, sure.
And it's not like we're throwing insults, but this is factual because
It's factual. I know for a fact that any minister who knows the detail, who knows that, let's think, I'm not putting Yatsi any artist. Let's think about who's the biggest artist in America, Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift helped to make a decision that said, NOMSA
Sure.
must continue being suppressed. Taylor Swift doesn't even know.
Akakwazi nokwazi
Taylor
kaloku.
Swift doesn't even agree.
She probably doesn't even agree.
yeah, it's not that swift.
So that's what they do. You know how they talk about, you know how when they are doing illicit transfer of money out of the country, laundering, do you remember how they do company?
Yeah.
That's why we have so many collective societies. That's why it's so complicated. That's why it's like, because by the time I got to where I am right now, guys, I was like,
Oof.
So CAPPASSO, so SAMRO, so SAMPRA, so risekile.
that's it. And now, guys, how I got to this paper trail is because I had big collaborations. I did Black
you
Coffee,
did.
and I did Ninth Wonder, and I did Rhapsody, and I never got a cent. And when I went through the paper trail, I understood why I never got a cent. My music plays at Discam. It used to play at Discam.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
And maybe I plays there often. I hope they still play it. But I don't get that money because they distribute that money based on market share. And I don't count on market share.
Oof.
Yazi
So, Nkosi yami.
naphathwa isisu
Nam.
or ulcer.
Yo, this kind.
So even though I'm not, kaloku, this is a business for me.
It is. That's
So if
exactly
I know
what
that
is.
I don't make pianos, I don't make the music that trends. I'm also not a dancer. You know what I mean? So I know my market, but I know my music is good.
Yeah.
So for me, I can have a strategy that says, let me go to the malls.
Yes.
My music is the kind of music that helps people buy shit.
Yes. Yes.
Like my music is feel good music.
Yes.
If maybe I play, you're like, maybe I should. So that they play it in the malls. But that's my strategy. And then there's crooked business people who say, no, Namsa, this money is gate kept. You can't come here. And I can't.
Oof. But also, some mob just said something. He just said, but the sounds of it sounds like we're screwed for a long time.
No, not for a long time. The world is changing. The world is changing. The world is changing right before our very eyes. Now, I'm going to go, and I said I did my master's in international
Yes,
political
you
economy
did.
and development. The global power is shifting. What do I mean by that?
Yes.
America, as an empire, is on its decline. China is on the rise.
It's coming up.
And in addition to that, when you look at BRICS, which is one of the great things that our government has done, was to make us one of the Ngakars part of BRICS. Do you understand? Ukuthi we are in BRICS. We are not the plus.
We are
Could have been the
in
plus.
it. We are the.
We could have been plus. I'm not nutting the plus. The plus is also very important. But I'm just saying that it's always better when you go to a festival. Kukho and many more. Yaqonda? Wena ufuna kubhalwe igama lakho.
Headline mfondini.
Phaa ku-BRICS yi-headline.
Headline.
And BRICS, as a unit, is the majority of the world.
Yeah.
We have the most people. I mean, China, India, Skribil. You understand? The world's people are in BRICS. So, in terms of a shift in the power, that is definitely happening. Now, for South Africa, it's a difficult, tightrope that we were walking.
Yeah.
Because as South Africans, we made really good friends with America. We did. We've got trade agreements with America. When I earn in America, I don't get taxed in America. So there's a treaty between South Africa and America that says, now my money gets taxed once by South Africa. It doesn't get taxed by America and South Africa. And you can imagine how that treaty affects businesses that are importing from America and selling in South Africa. There's a lot that such treaties benefit business, established business in South Africa. But even as South Africans, the majority, we have been saying, we say terms like white monopoly capital. But basically we're saying the economic is centralized in one area. So maybe it's not a bad thing that America doesn't like us anymore. Because for the majority of South Africans, because let's be factual when we speak here, youth unemployment is sitting at 60% for young people. There's an age gap, 18 to 24, I think. It's as high as 60%. So you cannot make decisions for the 60% based on the 40% that are employed. Yes, the 40% is important. So I'm not saying it lightly. Like, we will just say whatever to America, because that 40%, a large portion of them their job might be linked to that relationship with America. So there will be job losses. There will be job losses now that Trump is doing what he's doing. But we mustn't, the news, and this is when journalists have to really always write stories within context. Journalists mustn't say, there's Trump's tariff, so many jobs will be lost in South Africa. But they must frame it and say, this tariff, so many jobs will be lost in South Africa. However, due to our BRICS arrangement, there are now, this industry is actually growing. And there's new jobs that are being created here.
Yeah.
So that people can understand the dynamic. Like, I know this is controversial, but I always ask the question of, why do we do mining in South Africa? Mining is highly extractive. Very few people are the beneficiaries. And the people that are the beneficiaries, you get the miners who are treated very poorly and earn very little, who do most of the work. And then you get the mine owners, who there's a sprinkle of black elite there, who then we go on Twitter and Instagram, and they're buying one of 100 Maybach, what, Tontoni, Mercedes, and they're flexing. And it's like, no, but that, we've got 60% youth unemployment. What the hell are you doing buying a car worth 25 million rand? So when you look at mining, is it benefiting us really? Because the more we mine, the less tourism we can have. And actually, tourism is an industry that employs a lot of people.
Yeah.
And tourism is an industry that has very low barriers to entry. To be in mining, you must have a degree in engineering. Serious mining, the future mining, the mining of the future.
Money.
And it doesn't have the money, hey?
Really?
The engineering degree in South Africa does not have the money of the engineering degree in New Zealand.
Okay.
So let's also, so sometimes we must look at, do a cost-benefit analysis like you do in your home. You have 100 rand.
How presumptuous
It
of
would
you to
be-
assume people do that.
It would be very nice to go and buy yourself a Streetwise 2. And then also buy yourself 2 cans of Ishandis. It would be nice. But you've got 2 kids. You do a cost-benefit analysis. I could buy this chicken licken and these 2 beers and have a very nice time on my own, and then get home and my children are crying. Then I have to boil water on the stove to trick them that I'm making food until they fall asleep. You could do that.
Sure.
Or you could say, 100 rand. I can buy a 2 kg of flour. I can buy some sugar, maybe a 500 gram of sugar, and I can buy yeast, and I can buy salt. I can actually make bread for the next 3 weeks. My kids will be happy for the next 3 weeks. So I can either have good 10 minutes and have a horrible 3 weeks, or I cannot enjoy this 10 minutes and have a wonderful 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because my children will not say, yo, isonga kwakhona, bazathi mama isonga. Because they're hungry.
Because they're hungry.
And now you'll be creative in your backyard. You'll have spinach that you're growing.
ubudini,
You do your other things.
I like this.
So you have to do a cost-benefit analysis to say, is mining the KFC where we can look on our Instagram and we can say, wow. Because we get inspired by seeing black people in big cars and big houses. But for me, what's inspiring is no black people on the streets.
100%.
What's inspiring is nobody hungry, no children not eating, nobody going to bed hungry. That's inspiring to me. That's what makes me happy. That's what I like. Those are the things that make me feel good. Yes, it's nice to see people with Louis Vuitton and Louboutin shoes. But is it nice to watch kids dying in pit latrines? Because that's the trade-off.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
That's the trade-off.
It is the trade-off.
And the SAMRO can just bake us bread, sidle song.
So we can make a choice. So that's why I said, now let's take it big and come back to small.
Yeah.
To say, we have to do a cost-benefit analysis as artists and say, okay, which mix here works for us? Yabo? What can work for us? Because the world is changing. And in its changing, it's not just the politics, it's also technology.
Yeah.
Spotify. Okay, the earnings on Spotify are low at the moment. But what if Mpakanga breaks out in China? Oh, shit. 1 billion people? We can have all the Mpakanga artists in South Africa cannot service all those people in China. Mpakanga, everybody who's making Mpakanga will have a double story, a swimming pool. Things will, do you understand that you've got to think? Because Mpakanga cannot break in America culturally. Culturally, the way that they've been set up, the way that they view us as Africans, the way that they talk about us in America, the way that they've drawn us. If you look at the history of how Americans used to draw us, if you look at they're called minstrel shows with the big lips, they think we're stupid as Africans. That's the narrative in Europe and America, that Africans are stupid. But if you look at the narrative of Africans, when you look at Chinese literature, when you look at Indian literature, the way they drew us, the way they talk about us, Mpakanga can literally blow up in China. It can. So pick your battle. You know, of course, for Nomsa, I am very Americanized. My music can blow up in America. For Nomsa, I might be like, I wish we don't have to say bye to America. But, you know, Nomsa, you must not look at yourself as an individual. You must remember that, Nomsa, actually, when you come from a family, Omazwai, and Omazwai, go Twanini, go Mia, go Sbe, go Ves, go Mangob, ukhona uMbaqanga specialist
Somewhere.
Kuyo lesekile,
kuyo yonke le
And you
sector.
just sang lyrics of Mbaqanga just now, yes.
So if Tina Sonke, if we also change our mentality, because the European and the American way of thinking is very individual, whereas the Chinese and the Russian and that side of the world is more communal, where you rather think about community. Go and answer for There was a strike of the students where they said, no. Pass one, pass all. And now I was coming from a private school, and that logic just didn't make sense to me. I was like, what are you talking about? Because in my life, it's always, but I was very well resourced, right? So in my classroom, we were all well resourced. We all got extra lessons when we needed them. So everybody's competing because we were well resourced. But when I got to Forte, I discovered study groups. Yay! At Forte, people study in study groups. Everybody. I never studied in groups like I studied in groups at Forte. And I loved it. It was so much fun. And when they said pass one, pass all, I got it. Not when I was at Forte, unfortunately. But after I left this university, I got it. Because when we are in the study group, the person who asks the stupid question is actually developing the most intelligent person in the group. Because the most intelligent person in the group does not have the mental capacity to think of stupid
like
questions.
that, yeah.
So as a group, we all made this thing happen. So uba ukhono pasileyo apha,
Kumele
sipasa
kupasa
sonke
konke
kaloku,
umuntu.
pass one, pass all, because you pass because of us. And I love that mentality. And it's very difficult to understand if you have been westernized.
Yeah.
But once you can understand the logic of it, because honestly, the Western system works to a certain degree, and then you get into an office setup, and you have to work as a team. And the guy who drives the car is just as important as the guy who does the accounting. If the driver doesn't show up, it might be more problematic than the accountant. Or you are in a delivery business and you're selling products. If the driver doesn't arrive month end on the 25th, when you get your most orders, your company can go into the ground. If your accountant doesn't show up on those days, it doesn't matter. We'll see the books when he gets back. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know, I'm thinking about something that, since you mentioned the whole individualistic type of thinking, I've always felt as though we ourselves as artists do have a sense of, in South Africa, individualistic thinking. And I'm wondering, is that our problem?
Yep.
Our problem is that we see the development of artistry through the eyes of Americans. And Beyonce is the star. And the solo artist is the star. Justin Timberlake is the star. And it's very much, I mean, American media, you know. I mean, in South Africa, if, who's the biggest artist right now?
Tyler.
Or Tyler. No, Tyler's American.
Tyler not?
So
Oh,
she-
hectic,
she's
okay.
Go
ahead,
she's South
Mr.
African,
Tyler, hayi,
but
basiye
but she's
kumenza njalo.
Americanized, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of how we are getting her, right, is from a media perspective, we are getting her in an Americanized way.
Yeah.
Makadzi.
Let's do Makadzi.
Makadzi is famous. She's huge.
She's huge.
But Makadzi can walk through a mall. She can. If she's not doing the whole get up and the whole dress up and the whole thing.
And I love that for her.
But the way, so we're different. We haven't totally Americanized. But because we saw this Beyonce, people are aspiring to be Beyonce. People are not aspiring
be themselves.
to be a great singer or a great artist or whatever. It's very individualized. And maybe it's the nature of the profession. But I think it's important when we talk about music. For me, my team is so important to me. You know, as an independent artist, if I don't have somebody who's doing the role of radio distribution, I'm dead. Because I can't do it myself. It's too much work. It's a whole job.
And it's too much payola.
It's a whole job. No, there's no. I don't pay payola. I don't pay it.
You shouldn't. No one should be paying payola.
I don't pay it. I don't pay it, and that's it. Because the thing about corruption, let me tell you about corruption. Corruption. Why I don't like corruption
I mean,
is because we are not all higher grade. If we were all higher grade, corruption would be
It would make
it wouldn't
sense.
be such a problem. In the sense that we would all be able to ascertain quite quickly that's corruption. The problem is that not all of us are higher grade. So people can be doing corruption. Like when I told you how they were doing payola, actually putting the radio DJ as one of the composers. I mean, I thought payola was my producer goes to the radio station, talks to the DJ, gives him a brown envelope.
I was 2 years old, same, when I found out from you what payola actually was.
That's the problem with deceit. That's the problem with lies. That's the problem. Yabona, the devil can exist where everybody is devilish.
That's true.
And then nobody's winning. And we accept that. Nobody's winning. Where everyone's devilish, no one's winning. Case closed. The thing about the truth, it either it is or it isn't. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
It's black or it's white. There is no gray with the truth. So that's why I don't engage. When people say, no, this is part of negotiating and whatever, I'm like, no. No. Because I don't know that when I tip my foot into the gray water, how deep is the pool? When I jump into a swimming pool of honesty, I know about
it's just this high.
It's this high. But lies, you don't know. You could be jumping into a puddle and break your neck. Because there's no water there. You know, have you seen those potholes whereby it looks like it's such a little pothole? When there's water there, dirty water, you can't tell. That's why I don't mess with the lies. Because you just never, once you're dealing in lies, you just don't know. That's why they say there can be no honesty amongst thieves. Because during, you guys can make an agreement to go to see but okay, we're stealing now. Fine. We all made an agreement.
Yeah.
I do my part. I loosen where I need to loosen in my department. It's your turn. You do your part. You remove everything you have to remove. It's Lazi's turn now. Lazi's job is just to take. we are expecting a liar to be honest at the end of it because he must take and give. And then he must trust that what he took is giving equally. Because us as we are. So for me, I'm like, all right, guys, you know what? A country that runs well is a country that has zero tolerance for
I agree.
any kind of lying.
I agree.
Ngifuna ukukubuza
I
mina.
so wish.
It's possible.
I wanted to ask you, right? So, I had an issue with. I think I once sent you these O&I lists, right? They come from CAPPASSO, pretty much, right? And they're supposed to go to the designated artists are supposed to get paid, right? They come to me as a publisher, obviously, then I can claim and distribute. What I found happened was, this was years ago, do you remember, right? This is like years ago. I registered, followed the due diligence. There was no feedback for quite some time. I even made a hoo-ha and had to go via someone from Universal or somewhere just to be able to get CAPPASSO to stand up and do something about it. You know, I kind of like had to throw my weight around. Of late, I found that, like, after I've done everything and declared all the tracks, guess what they say to me? They say, no, you need to pay
Pay what?
imali for a membership. But all of this was done pre this rule that they introduced. So I find myself very against le ndaba yokuthi kumele kubhadalwe, because at the same time, I feel like as an artist, we're not making enough in the first place. Even the SAMRO membership, right? There's a fee that you have to pay. You know, you have a membership, for instance.
You must. You will know for me.
But you can find that you have to pay because something happened, information was entered incorrectly. I've had a case like that. So no, it doesn't qualify as a, you know, now we need to start from scratch and then you need to pay. So everything that you've possibly earned has fallen away because my details were wrong, your surname was misspelled, your ID number was wrong suddenly, right? But you now you find yourself having to pay. 3 years is what you guys mentioned. 3 years, it's elapsed. Yonke leyo nto leyo information is lost because of somewhere, somehow, admin not being done properly. And then again, they expect you to pay, but you're barely getting gigs, you're barely making ends meet. You need that money. Why can't they take it from the earnings
money
that you
that I'm
have?
making.
Why is it that, why are we paying, essentially?
That is, when I was at the board of CAPPASSO, that came into discussion, and I said that is something that must happen, that they must take their fee, their membership fee from the earnings.
Yeah.
So there's a form that you have to go sign to agree to let them take your fee from your earnings. So that's the only thing that you have to do. You don't have to pay. I thought you were saying they were questioning the matter of having to pay.
Yes,
And I want to
nah,
defend
Defend
the
it.
pay.
Please do for someone
Yeah,
who
please,
does
because-
not.
Okay, so let's
Yes.
say I am Joe Soap on the side of the road.
Yeah.
I don't have a job. I don't make any money. And there's this place called SAMRO where I can go notify a work and get a pension, because the musicians, there's pension funds, there's all kinds of things inside SAMRO. And actually to become a SAMRO member and
member,
to
a
qualify
fully-fledged member.
for some of these benefits, I just have to be a member.
A prospect member or what? Because
I just have to, in the past, you just had to go and notify a work. So I just need to do that. 500,000 people in South Africa can do that now. Now, SAMRO has 500,000 members. Out of those 500,000 members, only 25,000 of them are actually working members. But now the organization has to administer these 500,000 nonsense tracks, because we just go on the side of the road, play the car music, and maybe even play from a car or make a beat with cans and whatever, because you can make music and then notify my work and maybe get it to play on radio, do something like maybe like, but just in the past, it used to even just be that, just that you had to notify. So the membership fee is a way of ensuring that all the members are actually people in the working in the industry. And in order to become and to remain an active member, you have to earn a certain amount of money every year. And it's not a lot of money. It's like 100 rand that you have to make. I think it's 100 rand for them to have to pay you. But even if you make 70 rand, you're still a member. Then you have to make earnings. So it's a way in which a barrier to entry in a business is a way of making sure that the right people come. I'll give you an example. When I was working at the Soweto Theatre, and maybe I shouldn't talk about this because they might hold me into court in a couple of years about it. But anyways, who cares? Well, we'll see. I'm never afraid to account.
As long as we don't have to take the episode down, girl.
No.
Okay.
I'm always available to account.
Yeah, last
When I was at the Soweto Theatre, we had a youth development program. And before we made parents pay 50 rand a year or something, the parents were not bringing the kids. When you don't pay for something, you don't value it.
Yeah, that's
Even
true.
if you pay a
That's
very
true.
small amount, when you don't pay for something, you don't value it. And my youth development manager implemented paying, and we hadn't done the due diligence. I'll be frank about that. But we noted that when the parents pay, the students come. And what we were doing is that the parents were paying, and the money was being held, and then the parents would use it for their end of year event. So they would end up using this money that they paid, and the parents had their own committee, and they were managing this thing. But by law, a public entity cannot take money from the public unless it's going into a public entity's bank account. So there, we definitely were outside of the law, and definitely I could get into trouble for it. We tried to be in the law. I tried to take it to my counterparts, other managers, to say, guys, but let me not defend myself here. I'll defend myself there if they ever call me. What the point I'm making here is that there is a value in making people pay for something.
Yeah.
Because when you pay for something, you want this thing to tell you why you paid. Yabo? So it becomes very important that people have to.
But they don't tell us why to pay, why we're
Now-
paying. Because, I mean, look at it from an admin perspective. Look at how long, the last time I spoke to you about, look at how long the time elapsed. They can't even respond to an immediate.
Now that's an
Query.
operational issue. And in
So
South
we're
Africa,
paying for my problem swab.
Listen. Like your issue, I answered it.
Yeah.
They're supposed to take it from your earnings. There was no money that was supposed to come out of your pocket.
Yep,
Because they owe you money.
exactly.
And yes, to be a member and a publisher member at CAPPASSO, I believe it's 1,000 rand. So they were, or 500 rand, I don't know. But they were supposed to say, Lwazi, cool, your earnings are 35,000. Please can you authorize us to take the membership fee from your earnings and pay you? The goal should always to be send the money out.
Yes.
So I don't know why they didn't do that, but that I remember as a board member, I even said it. I said, stop this thing that when I come to a meeting, in order to get my voting tag, you remind me that I owe you money, but I made money.
Yeah.
Just make me sign something that says you can take the money.
That's it.
And if later I change my mind, I can come and change my mind. But when I've signed it, I've signed it. Don't ever talk to me about a membership fee again, because it doesn't make sense to me. It's like every time the person brings a newspaper subscription to my door, banfuni man, aibo. I said take 100 rand from my account every month so that I'm now Sunday morning I wake up and there's a newspaper. When I'm a member of CAPPASSO, when they say distribution in the newspaper, I look at my bank account, I'm waiting for money. I don't want a story.
I speak to this because now what has happened is that there are other companies that exist, external companies from other countries, right, that also want money, but they seem to actually be doing their job. You know, like the ones the ones that are trying to cut out
Carve out.
a carve out, yes, you know, because they are actually real. Like they speak to the artist and say, no, we'll collect those things from you, from those people, because, you know, the rate at which things are going, we're going to end up fighting for something. I fear that we're going to end up fighting for, we're fighting for SAMRO, CAPPASSO to put their socks up But there's international companies that are already doing that, and it feels like, why are we in this battle? That's why we get a lot of artists that are despondent when it comes to these kind of gatherings that we have, where we have to mobilize. They're like, what's one? Let me go sign up with. I don't know if DistroKid does the same service or whatever these companies are.
No, DistroKid is just
Yeah, I know it's just a
Yeah.
distributor,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, in light of the competition that exists in terms of collecting these royalties, it becomes very frustrating, you know?
My problem with a carve-out is that what has generally been the practice with carve-outs. A carve-out is a company that can do the job of SAMRO more efficiently for you.
Yep.
Now, usually these companies target the big earners, the people that make the money. So let me give you an example of, there's 10 of us, ne? Right now, who are members of SAMRO. 2 of us are mega stars. 2 of us are very, very small, but making enough to survive. And 6 of us are the majority who are making enough for a livelihood. So 6 of us are making 10,000 each. Four of us are making 10,000 each. 2 of us are making 2,000 each. And 2 of us are making 100,000 each. So 10, 20, 30, 40, plus 42, 44. 8 of us make 44,000. 2 of us make 200,000.
Yeah.
The carve out comes and takes the ones that are making 200,000 out.
Yeah.
SAMRO says our admin rate is 25%. So when there's 10 of us, that 25%, that's 242,000. They're taking 25% of 242,000. 25% of 242,000 is about 60K. Then these 2 leave in the carve out. Now SAMRO doesn't even have enough money to administer this money of these 8 that are left.
Yeah.
Because now we've only got 42,000 that we're claiming, but it costs 60,000 to work the SAMRO machine. And we know that it takes long to unwind and to retrench people. And what happens in that time? We're not getting paid. The majority. So a carve out is a threat for CMOs in South Africa, but it's an even bigger threat for the artists that are not big.
The majority artists.
The artists that are not huge.
Are you guys listening? Yes.
So that's for me where the problem is for me with a carve out, is that I've never seen a carve out set up at a festival. But artists come and sign up with us. I've heard of carve outs speaking to a big artist. I've heard, Davido is carved out. Yabo? So it's capitalism. And unfortunately, capitalism doesn't have an interest in the majority. And you see now the problem that America is facing. The problem that they're facing is because there's so many homeless people in America. There's so many people that are living out of their cars in America. In America, they can't afford groceries. But in America, it's also home of the mega, super rich.
Yeah.
That's why they're having a problem, that they're having a full of their empire. It's like, wait, we're competing with China, but we're not competing with China because in China, there are no homeless people. In China, everybody's taken care of. Right. And then now they have a rising middle class. They have people that are rising, but they don't have this poor, destitute, hey.
Okay. And then my other question is, if you were given the opportunity to, take the reins, let's say something like these board members that we're fighting with, right? That we want off because of dishonesty,
Oh.
right? If you were to go sit in that position, what would you do different? But I'm not done. It's a multiple-faced question. Yabo. Then let's take it to also, what's next? Minister of Arts or whatever, Arts and Culture, Yona Leyo. If you were to play that role, because I'd be willing to vote for you. You sound like a person who's aware of these things, who's more aware and in touch with the people. First of all, are you even interested in those seats, or do you just want to pigisha with us on the sidelines, because we do need order, and we keep talking about these things every year, but it's time that we actually vote in people
I think I personally think so. I think sometimes you may be like a young musician, right? Sitting there and you're thinking, I don't have the power, I don't have the voice, I don't have the know-how. And the people that have the power, the voice, and the know-how have an individualistic thinking. So what then is happening? What then can I do? What then must I do? So I think I'm just adding on to what Ulwazi is saying, to what Lwazi is asking. Ogote, what kind of decisions should we then be supporting someone or people who have the know-how to make?
Yeah, how do
so
we
that
get
we
you
see
guys there?
some sort of, so that we have a different setting, we have a different
Right.
industry.
This is when I say we are who we have been waiting for.
Ne?
You are 18 years old. You went to school. You can
18.
read. You do math. You did English or isiZulu, or you did read books. This is why literature is so expensive, so important. Literature teaches you how to comprehend. So, as a young person, stop looking at the people that are speaking the loudest. Loud people are for a population who cannot hear. You can hear. You can go on your TikTok. You can go on your YouTube. You are not sitting somewhere where you can't access information.
Yeah.
So stop listening to the people that are howling. If somebody is chanting one line, stop listening to them. What you need to do is sit and listen to the people that are telling you something you can comprehend. Funeka umntu ayicacise into ivakale. Uyive futhi. Vote for that. Because our problem in South Africa is that we vote for colors.
This is the truth.
Umntu ugqibe standard 7. Kodwa xa efika phaa voting booth, ufuna uvote ngathi ku-grade 1. Hayi mandiyithethe nyani.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Stop voting for colors. Stop voting for colors. You can't vote for colors. We are beyond that. The color is there just to make it easy. Just like PNA and the other brands, mandiyenzi brand namakhalakhala. Vodacom, no MTN, no Cell C. Xa ukhetha pha, awukhethi ikhala, ukhetha i-network coverage.
Exactly.
Ukhetha i-coverage. Xa uhleli kwakho uzawumane ijonge ikroba ifowuni uthi ulwazi mani, MTN wakho une-bars ezingaphi? How many bars does Telkom have here? How many bars? Okay, what Wi-Fi are you using? What network works here?
Imali data.
Yimalini data. Kutheni xa uthenga i-airtime awuthi yho ndayithanda le bomvu kukho laa ngoma bayiculayo endiyithandayo. Hayi guys, ha-ana. Sanudlala ngegama likatata uMandela. Ha-ana guys, no khada asmal. bathi makuyiwe esikolweni asikhathali uba basibosha basithini isikolo kodwa ekugqibeleni lo u-standard 7 siyamchana sonke. Yes, no matter what happens u-standard 7 wona sonke sinaye u-standard 7 and i-comprehension uqala phaa ko-standard 3 to standard 5. By standard 7 even if you are a carpenter by birth. Even if bakhona abantu esibazile uba hayi bona indima yabo ukusebenza ngezandla. Yes, bakhona abantu abakwazi ukusebenza ngezandla. And that's a beautiful
And
thing.
that's great, yeah.
And we mustn't nyatsa it because the plumbers are making more money than the accountants today. Do you know when I get to plumbing, plumber figure kwam,
Yeah.
uzawutshintsha ipipe athi 3.5. And ngoba ipipe ye-toilet.
Ask you to come to your
And
house.
come to afuna itour e-toilet emzini akhe. Uzayikhupha lo 3.5. But if uSARS uthi uyandi-owisha, i-accountant ithi 10,000, uzawuthi SARS until you fetch me.
I think I did.
There are people who have got power here. The plumbers have
The
power.
plumbers, the electricians.
The electricians have power. The carpenters have power. So, don't nyats this thing. But what I'm saying is that we all finished standard 7.
Yeah.
And by standard 7, even if you are somebody who specializes in handwork, you were sitting in a class where people were reading and explaining books.
Yeah.
And if you are not somebody who reads
And
books,
explains. Yeah.
come to the podcast, sit down, listen to the people that read the books
Man.
and listen to them. And don't just say they are right because they read books and they explain them. No.
That part.
We all read books.
Is that part.
Let me tell you, us who read books, mna ndikhe ndaphangela kwenye indawo. Hey. Let me tell you, those people there, they are very learned. Fundile. Kodwa kule ndawo, ifocus yabo ibisigisi. Besithi, we must write this English properly. They were knocking me for grammatical mistakes. And our job in this place is to get money from IDC or IDF or whatever this is is like to write a proposal for the bank to give somebody money. That's our job. So our clients are people that don't speak English. And in fact, the people that we are asking the government for money, to be frank, they don't speak English. But here we are so focused on
How you
why
speak it.
is your grammar bad? That's why they were on me every single day. I left that job so miserable. They made me feel so small. But in my mind, I was like, guys, I've worked at Soweto Theatre. I've given people money. And people walked into my office and spoke the language that they spoke. And I listened as somebody who knows what the money is supposed to do.
Yeah.
And they told me that they're going to make the money do what it's supposed to do. And I gave it to them. Why is it that people working at IDC who are making decisions at money are going to look at whether you made a grammatical error? Those are learned people. Those are people that are educated who are not intelligent. There are people who are educated who are not intelligent.
In fact, that's true.
Niswile.
That's why
true.
mna andimnyazi umntu. Because Xhosa people have proverbs, you know. Google and Africans have programs. They say if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Yayibona? That's wisdom. Akho Harvard apho. Akho Yale apho. Akho UCT. Lo term leyo when it was said. Wisdom is a skill. It's not something that you can acquire by doing certain steps and then we all do the steps and then
wisdom.
I remember the Gokulan dancer forte. There was a time where everyone was saying fees must fall, everybody must be able to go to university. And guys, yes, people that must go to university must go to university. But let's talk about who must go to university. Because not all of us are university students. Let's just be frank. We can't be talking about 80% first year failure rate and still be fighting for fees must fall. No. Yes, fees must fall, but the clever people must go to think
must
for
go.
us.
Ke ngoku
The
wena-
ones that are supposed to be thinking for us must go and study for free and learn to think for us.
Yes, that's why we want to deploy you.
She's
running
back
away.
to deployment.
Yeah, she's running away from.
Back to deployment.
No,
We
mna.
want to know how to deploy you, or similarly, abantu ababonayo with the
Abantu
solinye,
abacingayo
abantu
ngale ndlela.
abakhinkers. Dude, in all of these structures, there are no thinkers, and I've come to realize that because I've been exposed to such things.
Yes,
I go
because
to
we are
these
coming
meetings.
from an age of takers, Galoko.
Yeah.
But how
Yes.
do we, sinula, is that the right word? Is that the right
Which
Xhosa word?
is-
How do we raise you up like a flour with yeast?
It's very simple. You've been doing it. You've been raising up ANC. You've been raising up people. You
Ati,
know how to do it. You vote. Whenever there's a vote, you pay attention.
Are you gonna be
And
the
mna-
candidate, for
Nah,
instance?
I'm a child of God. Let me tell you, I'm a child of God. And
Hallelujah.
now I live my life to serve.
Oh,
If people
relatable.
tell me, you need to go do this because we want to do that, I'm not going to
Done.
say, I don't feel like. I live my life according to the will of God. And the will of God is not my will. I can't tell you to vote for me. I
Yeah.
can't tell you to put me somewhere. It's not my will. I won't tell you to do it. I won't. Because now when I wake up in the morning, I say, And it's one thing that I learned out of being unemployed. It's such a wonderful gift. I used to
Unemployment
cry.
imnandi, guys,
I used
let's
to
be
cry.
honest.
I used to cry because I was unemployed for so long. And unemployment is humiliating.
It is.
Because people will make you feel like you don't know anything just
Yeah.
because you don't have money.
And that's not true, by the way.
But it taught me something. It taught me how to live my life according to God. Because when I didn't have anything, I learned that only God can give
Can
you everything.
provide, honey. Yeah, that's true.
So even now,
I learned that as well.
And when I get asked, usually my answer is yes. I go, yes. Because I know God doesn't want me to say no.
So that you can shumaela evangeli like you are doing. Hallelujah. I like this.
So that's what it is. My life is like that. And I don't stay where I'm not wanted. Because, we've been in these spaces. I was part of this organization. They voted. They didn't put me. So people saw me that I can run an organization as music creators of South Africa. And I went. But then the people that I was serving with did not allow me to lead. Then I left. I had to leave. Because if you won't listen to what I'm saying, but the people that put me here said, I'm the one who must say.
Yep.
They said, I'm the chairperson. Which means that if you disagree with me, you must take it to the members and come back with the members and say you are wrong. But in our small meeting, you can't disagree with me because the members said, I'm right.
Yep. And you know.
So that's when you vote for us and when you see us leave entities and you don't understand, ask questions.
Yeah.
Go to a meeting and say, why
Go
did
ask.
Nomsa leave? And say, call Nomsa, we wanted to come. Because if I'm willing to be chairperson of an organization, I'm willing to account.
Yeah,
You can call me as members and say,
Yeah.
come and tell us why you left. Because we put you here. So you can't leave. And it's right, I can't leave. But if I do, when I'm gone, you can come and fetch me and say, come and tell us. And you sit there as you were when you voted me in.
Yeah.
So that I can tell you
Account.
that these people wanted me to do A, B, and C. Because what happens is that you put people that know how to do work. I'm not here to steal. Uba I say, ukuthi, I understand what it means to remain stupid. You must know, uba mna andikho kule game yokutya imali engeyoyam. Andikho tu. And andizubakho.
Yo, you
nanini. And uba uzaba isupporter yam uzuyazi loo nto leyo. Uba nawe as isupporter unga-expect itender.
ewe.
No. Mna andimenzi urent seeking. No. Because I am of the church that says it's only yes or it's no. It's only true or it's false. So, what happens is that you come as members, you vote us in. And then you have people. Let's say you only thought about Nomsa, but you must remember, in an organization, there's many people in an organization. So don't think about Nomsa only. So nibe kuNomsa, nimfake during amasela.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
I didn't think of it that way.
Ndicinga njalo
Uyayibona?
mna.
Okay.
So ngoku uNomsa akazukwazi uhlala. Hayi, because and ayizusebenza. You understand?
So Tina, when we vote, we actually vote for this person. Also, asitshontshele nathi.
Yes.
That's the.
That's the mentality. So nizawufaka uNomsa nithi no uNomsa unengqondo, but then masifake ichomi yethu ubani because uchomi uzasifaka. No, yekeni londo
Yekeni
leyo.
lonto.
Because uNomsa xa efike pha uthi oh yini bethuna ndathi kutheni apha kutheni ngathi ndibhuqabhuqana namasela hayi ke mna andikwazi ulala kule bedi.
Sobe kaloku.
Nomsa, since we're almost.
Kwazi tu.
Guys, since we're almost closing, right, I have a very pressing question for you, and you can answer it or you cannot answer it. It's up to you. Recently, we had this where we had to vote for. I'm gonna best vote Lansai.
What are we talking about? The AGM?
The
that
AGM
just
and the
happened,
EGM.
The SAMRO and SAMPRA
First and
AGMs.
foremost, I don't know, maybe there are specific members at SAMRO that get called to come vote for the EGM, and then the rest get thrown to the AGM.
Which is,
Actually, let's
let's actually talk about that. You're right.
Let me finish because there were two of us there. There was myself. I won't mention the other person, but they know themselves. Hi. So the link that we received directed us to
to the
SAMPRA one.
meeting, to the
is it
AGM. It
SAMPRA?
was SAMRO. I think we were on a SAMRO meeting.
Were you on the SAMRO meeting or
I was on a
SAMPRA?
SAMRO one.
No, we were on the SAMPRA
Was on the SAMPRA one?
Yeah, we
I
were
was on
on
the
the
SAMPRA
SAMPRA
one.
one. They were on the same day, those
Okay.
things. We saw screenshots in the...
This is gold.
We
Yeah.
saw screenshots on the group.
On the group, yeah.
To a point whereby we can see that the person that's speaking on this is not what is on the screen,
Yeah.
right? Please mention one of the problems that you ran into
Okay.
during the voting.
I wanted to actually mention
Irrespective of
this
them.
because I'm happy that we kind of talk, because I was like, okay, cool. We just had an AGM, and for any other artists that are, members or whatever the case may be, I wonder if they are aware. Okay, sharp. There was just an SAMPRA AGM that we were attending
Yeah,
online.
Tina.
Yeah. So one of the things I noticed first of all was, okay, I didn't know there were two meetings that two were happening. Number
Simultaneous
one,
at the same time.
Simultaneously at the same time. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm not informed somewhere. So
Yeah.
then I was like, okay, number two, we are asked to vote, but I can't vote. And I was like, why is that the case?
Yep.
I don't know which problems you
We couldn't
encountered.
vote, or no one could vote.
Yeah, no one would.
But the
We all
vote
kept
came
saying-
out and it said
And I found it-
3,000% for a specific
Yeah.
person.
And I found it awkward that whoever was hosting,
What?
the chairperson, did not acknowledge the fact that we
Nope.
cannot vote. So I was...
So
Here's the-
I found that weird. I was like, am I
I want
missing
to make
something?
it
And I wasn't...
juice.
I was like, am I missing
Yeah,
something? I don't
marinator.
know.
So it was that, ne? But I'm still stuck at that ukuthi ngikhona kuSAMRO, and my people, my artists are also on SAMRO. They didn't receive anything. It is SAMRO. Or was it because we were prospective members? Prospective meaning
What does that even mean, actually?
you just entered as ukuthathele ekhanda. These different types of tiers, as per se, how do they play a role in us being invited into meetings to be able to vote for the people that we want? Because we're being sidelined because, hey, you're a prospective member, you're not an associate member. Yes.
My
Your
thing
vote
isn't
doesn't
your
matter.
team kulo
Your
meeting,
team
eh?
kulo meeting. I'm not even educated
the point
Nomsa,
I'm-
about this thing. I just see SAMRO HGM or SAMPRA HGM. I don't know, first and foremost, SAMPRA from now. Why must I vote?
Remember how I told you that the problem with criminality and the problem with lies and deception
Yeah.
is that you don't even know some of the deception that's happening.
Maybe corner off, ne?
let me tell you what
Sakhala
happened.
ke
there.
manje.
Off, ne?
Let me tell you what happened there. Remember I said SAMPRA represents singers
Yeah.
Yes.
and SAMRO represents songwriters.
Yeah.
But I can be a singer-songwriter.
Yes.
So in one country where you know that you two organizations represent one person,
yeah.
why would you have two meetings at the same time?
It doesn't make sense.
No, it does make sense.
It doesn't.
Yebana.
Please tell. Yeah.
It does make
Please tell
sense.
us.
You're not con, you're not
It-
For people that want to get approval to get paid 120,000
Oh, I see.
rand.
Okay, so it does make sense for the targeted market.
It does make sense for what people want to achieve in that meeting. It makes perfect sense. Because
Okay.
for SAMRO, listen to me carefully.
I will. I need to.
SAMRO has 25,500 members.
Sure.
Who do you think makes the 25,000? Publishers or composers? Remember I told you that composers, I'm one, I represent one. A publisher represents 10 people. So there's way more composers registered with SAMRO than are publishers. Now, you make your meeting at the same time because publishers cannot be SAMPRA. It's impossible.
Let's record
Yeah,
labels.
yeah,
A SAMPRA,
Yeah.
a,
Oh, wow.
Lwazi cannot be a member of SAMPRA.
Yeah.
Because he's not a performer.
That's true.
But I was
His
called in.
members can be members of SAMPRA.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he, as a publisher, is not a member of SAMPRA. So the publisher has got no conflict in a meeting. But Nomsa must choose her battle. It's either she's going to the SAMPRA
one
meeting or she's going
this.
to the SAMRO meeting.
Yeah.
That was on purpose.
It was. Okay,
Those
I
were
knew some-
two
it felt
different
off.
meetings.
It felt off.
It was on purpose. It was criminal.
It felt off. I'm
It
not
is.
gonna lie. It
It
felt
was
off.
criminal.
And not even educating. You want our vote, you don't educate.
was
Akuna
criminal.
manifesto. There's nothing. You know
It
when
was
you go
criminal.
vote, like it's
It was criminal.
despicable.
It was despicable. That's the right word. It was despicable. They planned because by the time you are 2 days, 3 days before the meeting, you've now realized, oh damn, no man, we're having the same time. And we're asking for the same people.
Yeah.
Let's say the Joburg Marathon is happening at the same time as the Soweto Marathon. They're going to meet and say, no, we can't do same day. Because all our athletes must run both marathons if they want to.
Yes.
But because your interest is not the musician, is not your member, you hold the Joburg Marathon and the Soweto Marathon on the same day because both of you, some sponsor or something's happening and there's money to be made on that day and you don't want to filter that. But the sportsmen are going to be disadvantaged. You're right, sports people don't do that. You never hear of a marathon and this having at the same time. A a SAMRO meeting of members is a marathon of composers. It's where we all go together and
supposed to-
gather.
Irrespective
Yeah.
of the tier or
What tears?
Now let me
also?
tell
Who
you,
the
so that,
associate
let me
member?
explain to you for membership. To become a SAMRO member, a composer has to pay 100 Rand membership fee and a publisher pays 1,000 Rand membership fee.
that's us. Yes.
Right. Now, you've paid this amount. You are not yet a associate member of SAMRO.
We prospect nje.
Yes, you still have to become a member. You're somebody that's saying, look, I make music.
Yeah.
In the earning periods after you've registered, they start counting how much you've made. And there's a minimum threshold that you must cross in terms of earnings. Money in the bank, and it's not a big amount.
As you say.
I just don't know the amount. And that makes you an associate member. You have to do it for 3 years, I think. But once you've done that, you are on your way to becoming an associate member. To become an associate member, it's not a task. And also, once you're an associate member, there is nothing in our MOI that says if you stop earning, you stop being a member. So once I'm a member for life. Okay. Now let's talk about the difference between an associate member and a full member.
Okay.
The way the MOI is written, it says the difference between an associate member and a full member is calculated utilizing two metrics. It utilizes how much you've earned, and it also utilizes how much you've notified. Notifying works is when how many songs you keep making and then you tell them you made another song. Now, how these two are weighted is not shared, it's decided by the board, so we don't know,
Okay.
and that's a power that must be taken away from the board.
Sounds
The
like
board
it should
shouldn't
be.
have it. The weighting of that should be clear. All members should know how to become a full member.
Yeah, I
Shouldn't
agree.
be something that people will
We can't be
decide in the boardroom.
guessing
No.
also, Tina, on our side.
So we don't know the weighting because if how much you earn is weighted 90% and how much you notify is weighted 10%, you can notify 10 million songs, but as long as you're not earning from those songs,
Yeah,
you're not a full member.
member.
So we need to know the weighting. But if you read the language of the MOI, basically what they're saying there is that to be a full member, you have to be somebody that's constantly making music and constantly notifying. Because the logic is that the more music you make and the more you notify, the more money you're making. And that's how you become a full member. But that has been utilized in nefarious ways, we think. We don't know. Because when you do something in the back room, we don't know.
Yeah, you don't know, yeah.
We don't know.
Asikho.
I was
What doesn't happen in the light? We don't know. But it will come out. We have to know at some point. So that's the only difference between an associate member and a full member. Let me tell you, when it comes to voting,
Yes.
an associate member's vote is not different to a full member's vote.
That's what I was wondering.
It's the same vote.
But the prospect,
It's based on earnings. The weight of your vote is based on earnings.
And it doesn't make sense how, let me say, even if you say associate members cannot vote, that does not make sense.
no, associate members can vote.
Can
the
vote.
prospect can vote.
Yes,
Prospect.
because you're not a member yet.
Yabona. So
But why must you be able to vote Mafiki Zolo?
you see,
It's
but,
the truth though.
but look at it from this perspective, right? Out of all these people that are on the SAMRO is essentially yonke, like all those composers, there's a huge majority of them that are
That
prospects.
are-
Yes, and if they
Yes,
do
that's
their
what I
job
was-
for the next 3 years, they will be they will be associate members.
Okay.
There's no barriers here. You must remember, to be an accountant, you go to university for 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
This thing, you just have to show that you're doing your job. You do gigs, you perform. You.
You
This is the
constantly there.
university. This is how we've made the university. That do what you need to do to become an
So-
associate member. And
Okay.
hopefully in doing that, you're also going to learn the information so that by the time you become a voting member, we're not explaining things. There's people in
That's
SAMRO
true,
who are
actually.
voting members right now who don't know anything that I'm saying right now.
You.
Yeah, Ibona Londole. Even myself, by the time I became a SAMRO member in 2016, I didn't know any of the things I'm saying right now. I only got to know these things now when I'm unemployed, when it actually makes a difference whether I'm
Well,
like
no,
27
but
rand.
kunyanzelekile, uyazi.
So that is shit, man. Do you land like 27 rand?
Tengist nesing.
The flower, baby.
The flower, sorry.
Yabona?
So yeah, it's complex, really.
No, it's not complex.
No,
And that's what I'm
the
trying to
voting
understand.
part
I'm
of
the,
it,
the,
that
the
one I-
voting
It's not complex,
part
guys.
of it.
Mm-mm.
Where were those
Sometimes
numbers
I-
coming from then?
Now, let me explain. I was
Yes.
not in the SAMPRA vote.
Yeah.
I cannot speak to SAMPRA. I wasn't there. In the SAMRO vote, there were about, number one, the board made the meeting online only. Which for SAMRO, I'm not going to talk about SAMPRA. I'm not saying SAMPRA can have online. I'm not saying they can't have online. But I'm saying for SAMRO, you cannot have a purely online meeting. In fact, the collecting management organization in South Africa is supposed to have branches in all 9 provinces
I agree.
and is supposed to have online and in person. And if it's online, they're supposed to go and talk to MTN and talk to Vodacom and talk to whoever, whatever, just like the Department of Health has to do if they want to run something utilizing online. They must make it free. for South Africans. Department of Health says this essential thing, you can
Needs
only
to be-
get it from
Yes.
going on an app or going online. It has to be a 0-rated app or a 0-rated service so that everybody can access. If you want to go online, because your members can be anybody
Anybody.
Exactly. From all walks of life.
from all walks of life. And if your barrier to entry is 100 Rand in earnings, I definitely cannot afford 10 gigs to attend an online meeting. That's 1,000 Rand
Yeah.
because I'm prepaid.
Yeah.
So if you're going to have an online meeting and you want to comply with the law, you just have to set up 9 satellite sites and you have to make it close.
Speak
Not
to
even
everyone,
9.
my
Not even 9. You'll have to do, in the Eastern Cape, you'll have to do Amtata. You have to be
Yes,
Port Elizabeth.
Port Elizabeth and East
you have
London,
to do East
maybe.
London.
Yeah.
So 3 in Eastern Cape. Then you go to Durban. You're going to have to do Durban. You might have to do Pietermaritzburg. So you're going to have 20 satellite sites.
Yeah. The online
Which
part
makes
was
sense
off as
because
well.
there's a board with 3 composers and 3 publishers. So your board members, it's the board when it's got 9 or 10 members, 11 members. So and there should be additional members so that whenever there's a meeting, one board member goes to a satellite site, so that members can access a board member. But so.
It needs to be like that because I felt as though, like, also, a lot of the people that I recognized, most people, it was about privileged. I like what you said earlier about, uber privilege and knowing or having the capability. The people that work at record labels, I felt as though there's no who's not employed at a record label like a normal artist. It was too much, and even the people that were voting for have power at that specific record label, whether it be through when they're distributing for you, Janjan, or they're sub-publishing for you, but it's in your best interest to vote for that person because
We just have to get rid of the takers.
It's insane.
We are sitting with the takers.
Yo.
Because listen, the takers go and sit, they look at 150 million, they lick their lips, and they say, let's share this
Oh,
money.
they lick their lips, son.
Yabo? Instead of the board of SAMRO saying, guys, actually, when we have our board meetings, we need to go to the whole country. And we need to have this satellite things at every what. And it's an OB, actually. It's an outside.
It's a
like
broadcast,
we
yeah,
have
it's a
to do this
broadcast.
and see how best. And it doesn't have to be expensive. Or Lumi, it's a bad choice taken by bad managers and bad directors and bad executives.
Yep.
Lumi is expensive. EUSSD, SMS, is a very cheap alternative. Why did we not sit in the AGM and then, when it's time to vote, you should be getting an SMS and you do a USSD and follow the process?
That's true. It's not that expensive.
It's not expensive. But they want to give their money to USSD is a highly contested space. There's many service providers in USSD. There's lots of competition in USSD. So to say this is the only provider, it's much harder. It's like when they do in government, everything's an emergency repair, because they want to ask their specific supplier. Now they say, no, we must use Lumi. Then Lumi allows for this and this and that and this and that. But kumshe, no, we must stop letting people kumsha. Must ask questions. And apply your mind. Whenever somebody says something, sit and say, because we don't need Lumi, we can also use USSD voting or SMS ABA, like the Department of Health. Ubuzo, have you vaccinated? And that way more people would be voting, but their interest is not in your vote.
It's not. Do
Iphendulile.
they not feel, is it what they want is so that we don't do it? We don't.
What they want
Vote.
is the money. And so what they plan is for the taking of the money. That's the problem.
I guess that's the lesson. Let's remove the takers.
let's remove the takers, and the takers, they're everywhere. They're in the mines, they're in the departments, they're at the police
Oh,
station,
Nkosi
they're in
yami, Father
the
God.
judiciary.
Yeah.
Everybody who's not working is a taker because they get to work and they think, how can I
take?
treat the system? Well, let's all decide that we don't want to be takers and we don't want to be around takers. It must be uncomfortable to be a taker. Yayibona?
Yeah.
Umuntu ufuneka abe nenhloni man.
Yeah.
Abe nenhloni.
Xa ethenge i-BMW kodwa umntanakhe akanasonka.
Ewe.
And even those ones that register artist names besebenza lapha eSAMPRO ukuthi babhadalwe they must stop. Kuye kuba
The
imoto
takers.
The
etshontsha
The
imali.
takers.
This is not a Tisozo track.
No, we don't want
Imoto
the
ayitshontsha
takers.
imali. Yes.
We want the doers and
We
the
want the doers.
receivers.
Yes.
Because when you do, you receive.
That's true.
That's the language
They
of God.
give us,
Go
guys,
back to the
give,
language
and
of
it shall
God.
be given.
Go back to the
Hallelujah.
language of God.
This is the holiest.
Think about what's in your
session.
Quran, what's in your Bible,
Bible,
what's
your
in
Torah.
Torah. What's it? God exists in every religion. Go back to the language of God. God's language. In God's language, there's nowhere where it says you take.
There isn't.
The action of taking is evil. Stop it.
Yeah.
You ask, you receive,
receive,
you
and you
serve,
give.
you give, you build.
You sow.
You
Yes.
reap, you reap. Yeah, when
Yeah,
I,
when
I,
you reap
I do know the Bible.
You reap.
Yes.
After this
Yes.
thing. You have to
you
Yeah.
give.
sow, you give.
They're in
you
tandem.
receive.
See, my
these
mother's going to be
things.
proud and you tell you
They're
so.
in tandem.
Yes, you
these
reap, yeah.
things. Ukuba once you give, it's in tandem. That too.
Yeah. So those people, and I heard it yesterday, and I'll close off with this. There was an interview where the person was saying those people who say, look at God. And I was wondering, I was like, that's weird, to make look at God look bad, because look at God, I used to look at God all the time.
There are people who use look at God to
But
make
there's
it look
people that
bad.
who
That's
who say look at God, and then you're like, no, God doesn't want you to do that.
Stretch my
God
leg.
would never want you to take from the poor.
That's true. Never.
And if you are in
And
a
never.
fancy car
you are
in a South Africa that has got potholes and things that don't work, and you're a government employee, you are a taker.
you should be ashamed of yourself.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
We
Because
see
you
you.
should be saying things like, yes, Noni, let's just keep it simple and see how do we plow back.
Keep it simple and see how we plow back. It sounds easy enough also.
So that we don't have to have the discomfort, of going to the traffic light and seeing people beg.
Oh, Nkosi yami, that is uncomfortable.
It's not nice.
It's uncomfortable.
And perform where there's no venues at traffic lights. Sigh.
No,
Any closing-
I love the traffic light performers. I think they're a whole
I do.
industry.
I love the traffic light
I
performers.
feel like they help the
I
tourism
saw it in
industry.
Rivonia.
Yes, same.
I feel like that's our thing. We
Same.
can
I'm in Rivonia. You saw, I'm like,
That's the whole vibe. though.
Perform your heart away.
Petty
Do what
speaker
you
on the mic, I'm
love.
like-
Much, guys. Thank you so much for
Oh,
having
thank
me.
you so much for this chat.
Any
We all
closing
enjoyed
comments
it.
from
It's
your
amazing.
side?
From whose side? Her side.
your side.
Do I start or did you?
Sekuzithethile
I don't
zakhe.
have any closing
No,
comments.
I don't have closing comments.
Yeah,
I'm not saying my
exactly.
closing comments.
Why?
You did
never
say-
gave her. You didn't give her an
Okay,
opportunity
mara
to
ngifuna ukuqala lapha
close.
and I want to.
I have no closing comments. I
Mob,
would love
any-
my guests to have some. So,
Any
Mob,
closing
any
comments?
closing?
any closing comments, Mob?
Uyapakisha
Oh
umob.
yeah, he's mighty.
Done.
No,
Oh,
No, I was just going to say that it's been an interesting discussion. More than anything else, it keeps reiterating a number of different points.
100%.
Right. Firstly, artists need to educate themselves on the business of being an actual creative, right? And it's annoying. Artists just want to create. But unfortunately, as an artist, you're a business, right? And you must operate as such, or else you'll be taken advantage of. One. Two, professionalism. I think it's
another one.
it's another one.
Yeah.
It's a key aspect. And unless you've worked in certain professional spaces, there are certain things that are just gonna go over your head. Because she reflected on it at the beginning, to say that she's worked in certain
She's done this,
spaces,
she's this, she's
she's
this,
been
yeah.
part of boards before. So when you enter some of those spaces, you can ask the right questions, you can engage on that level, because a big part of I'm just going to call it abuse, or a big part of the manipulation comes from a lack of knowledge
Yeah,
and
100%.
ignorance. And people just need to do the work to apprise themselves of how these spaces work, or else they'll just be, eaten up by these spaces. Because if you don't familiarize with yourself with how the game of soccer works, when you get on the soccer pitch, you're just going to be dribbled, right? And right now, artists are being dribbled. But I'm happy that at least you're sounding a positive note, that there is a change, and that the tide is shifting, and that, that collective action is coming through. People are a lot more educated. People are a lot more willing to have some of these conversations. And then I think lastly, like everything else that we see in our economy, the difference between who has the most in a structure and who has the least in a structure is always very telling, because people are never, even if two people are on the same side of a discussion or a debate, what someone is looking to benefit at the end dictates how much action they're going to take. Because the truth of the matter is, if you had what you were pointing out earlier on, that a lot of the time your big artists and stuff like that either are represented by big labels, or if they're independent, they just don't have time for all of this stuff. But if they actually banded together with some of the smaller guys and they were on the same, they could add their bigger voices and move the needle on some of these things. But because the interests are not always aligned, that that thing is gonna be tough. So I'm at least happy that you're sounding that, despite all the nonsense, you're at least saying that there is a change. So that's my biggest takeaway, that at least there's a change. Because until today, I was actually quite pessimistic about some of these things.
That's
so
me.
Yeah.
And you, Nomsa.
Guys, my name is Nomisupasta. I'm an artist. I'm a singer. I've got a new single out. It's called Next Week Tuesday. The spelling of my artist's name, and I know that for this episode you've written it there at the bottom clearly, the whole episode.
Yeah, vamos.
Nomisupasta.
Superstar.
Nomisupasta. That's who I am on Spotify, on YouTube. I've been in this music industry for 13 years. My debut album came out in 2010. I waited 15 years for my sophomore album, which is coming out this year. Please support me on Spotify.
Yay.
Check me out. Check me out.
Sakusapota ku Apple Music na ku Tidal.
Apple Music, Tidal, Deezer. Check me out. Support me. Listen to me. My music is nice. I make good music. And with that,
They do.
this was shot on a Tuesday, and it plays where this is where I wrote the hook for Next Week Tuesday.
There's
So
an
we've come
86.
home- Yes, an 86.
At 86.
We've come home to the home of the birth of the song. So check out my new song, and can we hang out and smile together next week Tuesday?
Now the episode is open next week Tuesday.
I think we can just shut it down from.
I also have closing remarks.
Sure.
As artists, it's important that you note down everything that you've learned from this episode. It's been a fun episode again. Thank you for coming through.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for making time
indeed.
for us. We couldn't get anyone of your caliber. All of them are employed.
That's the truth. They have jobs.
And
All of them are
if they dare speak of such things, they get fired. We know this. So, guys, they always say, black child, you are on your own. No, you are not on your own.
We are together.
Sikhona, we are here.
Black child sisonke.
Unemployed now.
Black child sisonke.
Yes.
Unemployed.
Let's deploy each other. My brother from Soweto. or Atteridgeville,
okwakhe.
Eastern Cape, yonke ilizwe ye-South Africa. Thank you. Siyayivala ke kanjalo.
Awesome. Side session signing out. Mwah.